Hey, welcome to the Black Ibis Social Club. Another fantastic live episode for you guys. Looks like I got all the technical stuff down. Phisto, good afternoon.
Yes, hello. I'm here. Hello.
That worked. That worked. We had a
Hey!
song going and everything. Yeehaw!
Holy shit, Chuckle Fucks. Here we
It
go.
worked. That was a smooth transition from Gay Cowboy Rodeo, partners. All right.
Man.
So, first thing I want to talk about, well, first of all, happy Tuesday and welcome to the best live show on Substack. Today's episode is called Enshitification Station, my friends. And I got lots of stuff to talk about. We got to talk about, the definition of enshitification and its history. That's kind of slightly interesting. We're going to talk about Cracker Barrel and why it sucks, and it's always sucked. I'm sorry, guys. It's always sucked. And we are going to talk about some science fiction. But first of all, we have Phisto. He's a celebrity. He's a superstar, right?
Yeah.
Why? Why don't you tell us?
So,
Phisto, why are you a superstar?
So there's a new app out there. There's a new Chrome extension that apparently a nerd who has to be blocked, somewhat ironically, created it, and basically it calculates, or is supposedly calculates, the amount of people on Substack that have blocked you. Now, for the listeners at home or the new to Substack, the people who don't know how it works, Substack has robust moderating tools that are fully and completely within your control. They don't moderate content, except for the most egregious examples. You could always check out the terms of service to understand the limits that Substack has set, which are generally pretty well-established limits. To anybody familiar with First Amendment case law and things of that nature, but up until this point, there hasn't been a realistic tool to really understand. You know how many people you've blocked, and you know how many people you've muted, and just a side note, I actually a while back I changed it on this. Before I get to that, I've always actually been a big fan and a big proponent of blocking and muting. At the end of the day, Substack is yours to use, and you should do with it as you see fit. So what I'm trying to say is that anybody who thinks that like blocking is weak or muting is weak or this and that and the other thing, you are the fakest and gayest retard on fucking Substack. Okay, like you are king of the retards. All right, because nobody fucking cares. All right, I don't log on to the internet. I don't log on to Substack to listen to some moron screech at me about the same bullshit over and over and over again. Nope. I got better things to do with my life. So anyway, with that out of the way, I actually changed a while back. I used to block and mute, but when you mute people, they can actually still see your content, and I prefer the existential elimination that a block brings. So I just drop the block, and you're dead. You're dead to me, and that's just how I like it. Anyway, you were never known to see how many people have actually blocked you, and it's something that people have been curious about. I wonder how many people have blocked me and whatever. So this guy creates the Chrome extension, which we should drop a link in the podcast episode just because it'll be funny to look at. But somebody drops it.
We'll do that.
Yeah. And people start posting numbers. Oh, this many people have blocked me. This people have blocked me. This many people have blocked me. And the funny story about it is, like, a lot of these numbers, all of them except for one, were under 1,000. So I'm like, you know what? I'll go take a look. 3,110 people have blocked me on Substack.
Damn.
According to the extension. That is an extraordinarily high number, and I have not yet seen a number higher.
That's about as many people as actually are subscribed to this podcast.
Yes, I have just under 2,000 subscribers. I have half as many blocking me, which I think is pretty fucking fantastic. Mainly because, like, a lot of people probably realize, like, I don't take this all that seriously, and I'm really just here for my own reasons, and I'm just having a good time, and it's whatever. And I say what I want to say, and a lot of people don't like that, especially if you're of the aforementioned fake, gay, and retarded, challenged among us, I should say. Anyway, so that's hilarious. The next, like, see, I'm the way I'm going to talk about this. So, like, my number was at 3,110, which is just apparently blown people out of the water, and I've gotten tons of messages and a bunch of people who are going like, "What the hell, dude? That's amazing." So that's been a lot of fun. I've been laughing my ass off over the past few days. The next highest number that I've seen from what I consider like a controversial account is worst boyfriend ever. And apparently he's got 1,800 blocked. So
Wait, so you're beating worst boyfriend ever?
I haven't. I'm not beating worst boyfriend ever. I have eviscerated him down to his component molecules. All
That
right,
is
no,
wild.
he's like, I've Dr. Manhattan that motherfucker, and he's just vanished into the ether. It was really funny because I actually had him blocked because he drives me up the fucking wall. But I unblocked him and I saw his post. Like, has anybody seen a higher number? And I just post, yeah, I think I've got a few. Fucking 3,110. I think his number was like 1,800 or something. So not even close. Some people have brought up a good point though, and I'm probably not going to see these numbers, but got people like Will Martin and Chandra Hardry who are just like some of the most like they are baby's first block on Substack.
Or like Dwarven Allfather.
Yeah, there's a few.
All those fucking schizos that I block. I just block schizos, dude. I have like a high patience for people, but like schizos, I'm just like, dude, I'm not gonna get into like schizo shit with you. You know what I mean?
So that those guys, that's not who I'm competing with really, because at the end of the day, they're all one note retards. I mean, Chandra Hardy's posted the same bullshit every day forever. Same with Will Martin, same with fucking Dwarven Allfather. Like, these people are, they might as well be bots, just posting the same thing over and over and over and over again. So I really don't count them all that much. The other group that I'm not quite going to compete with, because there's no way I'm doing this, but like Casey Anthony is on Substack, for example. I'm not going to murder I'm not going to murder a baby just to increase my block count. So that's where the limit is, guys. Phisto will say many things, but he will not contribute to the death of an infant and try to cash in on that. So anyway, that's the big news. So I thought it'd be fun. Yeah, man. Thank you. It's funny too, because I've thought about it. I might actually write it about it a little bit, because how the fuck does somebody get 3,110 blocks? Like, that's kind of intense. I think I have some ideas about how that occurred, and I may write about it later. I may not, but I thought it'd be fun. I'm going to go ahead and refresh the block count live on Substack, live on the Black Ibis Social Club. What is it? Here we go. I'm pressing the button, guys. I got drum roll, please, sir. Refresh blocks count 3,121 people.
Oh, impressive.
It's gone up. It's gone up 10.
That's good.
Yeah, it seems about 5 per day. I've been actually looking at this, because I'm a goddamn masochist. So I've been paying attention to this a little bit. But it's pretty funny. It's definitely brought a lot of joy to my face, and I think it's made a lot of other people laugh too, which is the thing I really enjoy. I've been getting pings from people like, notice me senpai, oh Phisto, I'm afraid to look. Like, one of my favorites was JS Casimir. He's a long time, or she, I think, is a longtime person I followed on Substack, and they were like, "Oh, I'm so worried to check," and I'm like, "Go forth and fear no darkness." Just go look, guys. Just go look. It's funny. Like, it's just having a good time. Like, this is just, it's the internet. Don't take it so seriously. Relax.
I checked mine right before, and it's 489.
Oof, man.
Which I feel like, I mean, you piss people off, but I feel like I really piss people too. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've got some haters, I guarantee you like about 450 of those. Well, no, I was going to say 450 of those dudes are like the pagan bros, but there's not 450 pagan bros in the United States. So
that's only like a dozen of them, man.
It's like
that's everybody. That's
or maybe it's the entire like pagan bro congregation on Substack.
There's the 12 actual pagans, and then there's 20 eunuchs, and they don't get the internet. So
yeah. That's wild, man. Well, that's awesome. Keep it up, dude.
Keep it up. Hey, I'm just doing me, man. I'm just like this. No, it's funny though, because somebody actually asked earlier. They were like, there's this idea going around that trolls and people that say inflammatories and things on the internet, that we do it in order to, make up for something, or because of something we're lacking in our life, or the idea that like acting like this online then like leaks into our private life, and this corrosiveness. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the internet for a lot of people has become the replacement for what we used to do before the internet existed, which was go out and talk to people and like hang out in real life and do things in the real world. And to me, Like, for example, it is absolutely fucking insane to me to imagine that someone would post with their real face and their real name on the internet. Like, you and I are both at the age where the internet was becoming new. Like, you're talking to somebody on the internet, dude, they're gonna fucking rape and murder you and eat you. Like, the internet was full of reavers. You know what I mean? Back in the day. So
Yeah.
for
I had to have
me, like,
had to have that talk with my daughter last week.
yeah, no, absolutely. The internet is full of reavers. They will kill you, rape you to death, and then cannibalize your flesh. And if you're lucky, they'll do it in that order. Like, that's the internet. So, that's the view I'm coming from, and I've never lost that, because at the end of the day, the internet is not real life. It's not anything that I feel like risking, people I actually know for and things of that nature. It's just whatever. It's a fucking game. I'm just having a good time. The other flip side about it too is that, like, to people who know me in real life, like, you probably get a sense of this, and I think of some of my closest friends. Like, we've had Isaiah Evanson on the podcast. I've known him longer than anybody on Substack, and then I've got a few other friends that I've known for longer. None of them are surprised by the shit I say online, because that's the shit I say in real life, and it's hilarious. I like making people laugh. I am at base a comedian. I am at base a clown. I am the court jester. And I've embraced that role, because not only do I get to make people laugh, but then every so often I get to deliver rock solid fucking truth straight to the dome. And because I'm the jester, everybody takes it seriously, because they're like, oh shit, that guy, he just pulled that out. Amazing. Like, so it's a position I enjoy, and I just lean into it hard. So whatever, it's all in good fun, guys. Relax.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same outside of the internet. I'm just
Oh yeah.
probably a little bit more moody and depressed in real life than I'm on the internet. Like,
Yeah.
I tend to have like very like uneven mood shifts, and like, just like moments of just complete like spazzing out, and like, very bipolar, very like sometimes I'm driving my car and I'm just like, what if I just let go of the steering wheel and like slam into the side of the bridge?
Fight Club mood.
Yeah, I get into those moods sometimes. Like, what if
Yeah.
like sometimes like when I used to drive on the freeway in California, I used to like drive like I don't look at my speedometer. Okay, speedometers are stupid. I don't look at the speedometer. I just go. Like, if I'm going, sometimes I'm going like 80, 90, 100 miles an hour. Probably not, because my Corolla can't go that fast. But other times I'm going like 20. And I don't care. If I could, like, just whatever, dude. I do what I want, right? But sometimes, like, I used to drive down the freeway like at 90 miles an hour, and then I would close my eyes, and I'd count to see how long I could keep my eyes closed before I like opened them. And
Jeez.
and I thought that was pretty cool. Like, I used to
It
do
is
that all the
pretty
time.
cool.
I was just like, hopefully there's not a turn or nobody slams their brakes in front of me, because I'm gonna fucking die.
Fingers
But I
crossed,
used to go fast enough that like I was just guaranteed that it'd kill me if I hit something. So it was like, whatever. But that's
whatever. I'll let it
because
go.
because I was clinically depressed, had PTSD from Afghanistan, all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
right.
now I'm
Exactly.
better. Now I'm better. Now I podcast, and I relieves.
Is that better? Is that better?
No, it's not. It's not. It's
Look at you,
it's
pick
really
for a
not
co-host,
better.
the most blocked man on Substack. Yeah, well done,
Yeah,
buddy.
it's I can't. I'm disappointed in myself. 489. Like, I'm a child here. Like,
It turns out
oh my
that
god.
at the end of the day, you still ended up in a car crash, just at slow motion, and it's broadcast across the internet.
I have never been in a car crash in my entire life. My wife's out here hitting fucking deer left and right, parked cars, and all this stuff. And I have never, and she's always like, you drive too fast, slow down. You drive too slow, speed up. And I'm like, man, at least I never hit a parked car, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, so
Hey,
let's
one
talk
other
about
thing.
go ahead.
Sorry, just one other thing I want to mention regarding the block thing, just because I feel like this is worth mentioning. So, like, you're different than you are on the internet. We all have personalities. We all have different versions of ourselves that we emphasize at any one time. One of the funniest things that people ask me sometimes is, they'll be like, do you talk to your students like this? No, I fucking don't. Are you fucking retarded? Of course I don't. Like, they're 14, 15-year-old students. Like, I talk to them like they're 14, 15-year-old students, and I'm a professional with a job, right? That's one of the things
Yeah,
that
talk to
cracks me
your
up the
mom
most. It's
like
like,
that, then.
yeah, no, I don't. Like, what grown ass person expects me to talk to them like I would a 14-year-old? Like, that's the biggest tell that people have, is when they ask me that question. It's like, grow the fuck up. All right.
Right.
Come on, knock it off. And like, yeah, do I act this way at church? No. Do I make people laugh their butts off at church? Yeah, because I'm a funny dude, but I also know my goddamn audience. Like,
Right.
I know when to not, when to dial it back and then when to wait on it. It's like, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, folks.
It's
I've
called
been making
reading the
people laugh for a
room,
long time.
guys. It's
Yeah,
called
that's
reading
all
the
it is.
room. Like
Yeah.
having like higher IQ means you have higher empathy, and part of empathy is the ability to learn when to put on a certain character, because
Yeah.
we're all characters in a way, right? We all have different
Yeah.
personas or different facets of our personality,
Yeah.
and
Different things we emphasize.
somebody that knows how to navigate social situations can be funny and crass in one situation, and professional in another situation, so it's interesting, right? Like
Yeah.
it's in I wanted to actually address the live chat real fast, and you guys get into live chat.
Yes.
Let's get some chat going, man. I want to read your
Talk,
comments.
bitches.
There's a mention about W, worst boyfriend or whatever, right? Worst boyfriend ever.
Yeah.
Now here's my thing. He's got moments of being funny, but my problem
Yeah.
with him is he's kind of a ripoff off of Delicious Tacos. And
Yes. Yeah, I've
Delicious
heard that too.
Tacos. Okay, Delicious Tacos is fantastic. His writing, his short story collection, I forgot, the Pussy or whatever it was called. It's one of the best, like, of the like alternative, like based or online kind of like new fiction in the last like decade. And if you haven't read Delicious Tacos is like fiction, I would recommend buying it on Amazon and reading it, because it's good. It's not just shock stuff. And maybe I like connect with Delicious Tacos a lot because he's writing from Los Angeles, and I recognize a lot of the scenarios he's writing about. And I'm not sure how old he is, but I think he's a little bit older than me. And I feel where that dude's coming from. He writes about not Plenty of Fish. What's the other website? OK Cupid is where he started out, and it's funny. Remember OK
Yeah.
Cupid? That was like a
Oh,
dating
yeah.
site.
Oh, yeah.
I used to have an OK Cupid account. I think it's still
Oh, yeah.
there, probably. You can find my
Yeah.
old OK Cupid. It's me wearing my Kevlar, my like combat helmet, and smoking a cigarette indoors with my combat helmet, and it's like I look like a piece of shit, like unshaven, like cigarette hanging in my
The
mouth.
Full Metal
Like,
Jacket. The
yeah,
Full
Metal Jacket, like Kevlar thing, right? And it's basically I'm an internet warrior was my whole thing. And like I think my whole profile was like, I don't fucking like you, don't message me. And like and it was like something corny, like I like short walks on concrete, and something like that.
I bet you got all the hoes though. That's the funny part. You probably got all the hoes.
I never really did the online dating thing, man. I was always too busy. One time on OK Cupid, I did like meet up with a girl, not meet up, but like I don't know, like she liked me or I forgot, as in I went on a date with her, and the only reason I did was because her name was Alex, and I really wanted to like go out and like get married to somebody with the same name as me, because I thought that'd be really funny.
Nice.
That's because I drank a lot. Because I
Yeah.
drank a lot back then, so that was my thought process. But it wasn't a very good plan. I was like, I'm like, you're hot because I like your name. This is really mentally ill shit right there. Which was like around the time I was doing a lot of drinking, and it wasn't very good. But yeah, that was I think the extent. I also did meet this one girl. Forgot her name. She was pretty fun, but I met her at a bar, and she goes up and she orders 2 pitchers of beer, and she puts down. She goes, one for you and one for me. And I'm like, okay, all right, we're going hard now.
Marry me.
I'm like,
marry me.
Yeah, she was this Jewish lawyer chick, which is pretty funny.
See, that's funny. The one real. I'm not going to say successful, but it's the one that I remember fondly. Was I did like a combination of meeting chicks at bars and online dating, and yeah, she was also Jewish. There's something about that. I think we went to some musicals together. It was really great.
Yeah, this one liked me to punch her in the face a lot, which is really weird. I didn't like it. I'm not into that.
That's strange. Yeah, this one was not about getting punched.
And then after like three
Watched.
sessions of hanging out with her, she told me she had a fiance, and then she called them on the phone from my house, and I was like, I really hate you. Get the fuck out of my house, you know?
Yeah, just get out of here.
But you know,
Wow.
that was a
Amazing.
different time. I was not the same
Yeah.
person I am now.
Many years
many ages ago.
Other
ages
of ages ago.
Yeah, ages of ages ago. All right, so what are we talking about here? Enshitification. All right, what are we talking about? We got this sexy cowboy. That's actually me, guys. If you don't know, right? That's actually a picture of me from a few years ago. No, it's not me. I'm buffer than that. You see, I changed my name. Do you see I changed my title?
Oh no, I didn't see that. Midnight Cowboy, outstanding. Should I change mine to Space Cowboy? I'm changing mine to Space Cowboy.
There you go.
So that way we can be super gay about it.
Yeah. So, what are we talking about in enshitification? So, I've noticed that Substack has become really shitty lately, right? And I don't mean the actual website or the technology or anything. They haven't really changed much of anything. It kind of runs the same, and they haven't added. For a while, they were like vomiting new features that nobody wanted, and that's kind of disappeared. They haven't done any new garbage in a while.
Notice how they got rid of Reels? Did you notice that they got rid of Reels?
No, I didn't, because nobody fucking used Reels because they're a stupid idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why they.
So that's kind of cool. I didn't know that they got rid of them. That's good.
Yeah, I approve.
But they haven't really done anything new, like, you know. But what I've noticed more and more is that my notes feed is just getting spammed with like extra retarded shit. And we have two theories of media here, right? We have vanguard theory, right, or avant-garde theory, right? Avant-garde theory is basically that the coolest things are discovered or created by, you know, the avant-garde, the you know, initial assault, the artistic avant-garde, right? And that's the people that got there like on day one. I think I pretty much had Substack from like the first few months it was created.
Yeah.
And do you guys remember how cool Substack was, man? Like, remember when every other like article you read was like Tree of Woe, John Carter, Librarian? It was just like my feed was like I would open my feed and it was just like, man, I gotta sit here and read a novel's worth of stuff because it's all good, you know?
Yeah.
Now I open my feed and I get, to quote, dumb fuck Rana, I've started celebrating when people unfollow me because it means I'm finally saying something interesting enough to make them challenge their beliefs. And most of them aren't ready for it. The goal isn't to be liked by everyone. It is to be unforgettable to the right people. Spice gets remembered. And then this is the same guy that has great stuff like, my grandpa once told me that the things you're most ashamed of are usually your biggest advantages if you reframe them right. Your sensitivity makes you a better leader because you actually care. Your weirdness makes you memorable in a world of copies. Your struggle gives you depth the shallow people can't touch. Stop hiding your scars. They're proof you've survived something.
Dude, listen. You know what my grandfather did for me? You know what my grandfather did for me? He fed me cheese, he fed me beer, and he told me, don't be stupid. That's what I got from my grandfather, and it's worked out pretty damn well so far. All right?
Well, okay, so this guy.
Sensitivity. Dude, your grandfather's raping you, bro.
Yeah, well, his grandfather doesn't exist. His grandfather doesn't exist. This is Darshak Rana, right? Who's like tagged as like awesome human beings. This is the guy that like this one's making the rounds, right? It's the kid bagging groceries today had Down syndrome. Sorry. He was meticulous, bread on top, cold things together, heavy items at the bottom. I feel like I'm stealing what's his name, like, right? Better than most baggers I've encountered.
Better than most baggers I've encountered. That's a real sentence that somebody wrote.
But what got me was how he handled the delicate.
No. Hold on. What's this guy's name again?
Darshak Rana.
D-A-R. Spell it, because I think I got him.
D-R-S-H-A-K space R-A-N-A.
Darshak. All right. I mean, Darshak.
But what got me was how he handled the delicate items like they were made of dreams.
I do have him blocked. All right, I'm unblocking this guy. Let's fucking go. All right.
Okay,
Right
I
now.
can't.
Right now.
Anyways, sorry guys. Oh fuck, I'm
Jesus
dying here,
Christ.
dude. Like,
This is so bad.
right. So this is the kind of stuff that Substack has gone to, and we're like we've gone past Facebook into like whatever the fuck this is, and then you got
into LinkedIn hell. Just
right.
straight to LinkedIn hell.
And
That's
then
got to be what that is, right?
You got Heidi White 5 days ago. Her reply was like they were made of dreams. This sentence is everything. One of my son's best friends has Down syndrome. They grew up together, and he's one of the most genuine, joyful humans I know. Bro, I'm gonna barf my Zin out. I'm gonna have to run out of Zins because I can't handle. I need to pop another one and give me a second. Anyway.
Listen. Our next podcast is going to be from a car going 90 miles an hour, and we're going to be having our eyes closed the entire podcast. And all you guys are going to hear is a car crash at the end of it, and that'll be that. Like that's where I'm at with this. That's where I'm at with this. I'm going to find this guy. I you know what? This is because if this is popular, see, this is how you get block numbers like mine. Is you find an account like this that he's probably never reading any of the comments, and he's probably never looking at anything. And then you just piss off a bunch of people by fucking shitting on it because it's garbage. I mean, it's like, guys,
he goes,
this is bullshit.
He goes, but what got me was how he handled the delicate items like they were made of dreams, wrapping them in a separate bag, placing them like a holy ritual. Safe travels, he whispered to my carton. I've never felt more careful with anything. 7,000.7 likes.
Listen, if someone whispers to my cart at Walmart, I am never going back to that store again. All right, I'm never coming back. No. I'd
be like, excuse me, sir. The retard is whispering to my milk carton.
He's flirting with my ribeyes. Could you stop flirting with my ribeyes, please? I'm gonna eat these later.
First of all, now we're not making fun of the retarded kid bagging groceries at the grocery store. We're making fun of Darshak Rana. We're actually like the people we're really making fun of is all the retards that actually believe these nonsense stuff, right? This is like AI bait, this is like if you look at this dude, he
found him.
He looks like a straight up mutanoid, like a barely I don't even want to be mean, but and a summer camp of 7 to 8 year olds in my neighborhood organized a unique lemonade stand, not for money, but for compliments. One nice thing about my day, please, read their sign. By evening, they've collected 47 small kindnesses and reminded a whole street that sweetness comes in many forms. Get the fuck out of here, bro. That is so fake and so gay that like it just no. Have you ever met children? Look at my daughter be like, give me the goddamn money, bro. Like she she itemizes the ice cream money I give her, And the other day she's like, Mom, I lost a tooth and the tooth fairy did not come by and give me any money. And I'm like, okay. Must be that
she's holding a bat while she tells you this.
It must be that 25% Ashkenazi she got from her mom. Just like, it's that Polish side of you. Yeah, I'm like, keeping
what's
tabs.
What's the other style? The other style of posting that's shown up is this one dude's been getting roasted all over the place. But it's like at 47, I got divorced. At 48, I moved to Timbuktu. At 50, I and it's just fucking like, dude, you blew up your life in your 50s. Congratulations. Like, just shut the fuck up.
Right. Shut the fuck up. Right. Well, so the problem is, Substack was supposed to be the avant-garde place for writers that were basically banned off of Twitter, off of all the different kind of places. You know what I mean? And it had interesting alternative voices. It was edgy, it was edgy. It was interesting, and it had like cool stuff. And like Matt in the chat is right. Substack,
I was just going to say,
So Plan B was to, flood the place with mainstream shit libs and Twitter crap. But it's not even Twitter crap. It is cringy stuff. Twitter has a different problem. Okay, I'm going to do a quick sidetrack on why Twitter sucks now, or X, right? the
It's
reason
Twitter. Just call it Twitter. Fuck them.
well, yeah, the reason Twitter sucks now is because the extreme right-wing racism and bigotry and memeology that existed during like the liberal era was really good because it required a higher level of IQ, a higher intelligence, right? In order to get past the shit lib censors of the old Twitter, you had to be like extra intelligent. You have to really play the game. You have to be able to like slip and slide and slither and basically like confuse the opposition. So when you got to like the level of like somebody like BAP or Bab being Bronze Age pervert or any of those epic guys from that era, like these guys were pros. They knew how to like avoid, they knew how to talk in code, and they knew how to like, the memology was basically secret code. It was like the Christian fish symbol the Christians used in the early days of Rome under like the evil emperors that used to persecute us, right? Like it was all about like knowing like the codes and the secret words and the dog whistles and all the cool stuff. So in order to be part of that conversation, you had to have a higher level of intellect. Therefore, the deep right wingness and racism of that era was really good because it was very, very intelligent in a way, right? Now that there's no censoring whatsoever, all that stuff is ruined by morons, who low class it. If you just drop in words of power and blah blah blah, and now 99% of Twitter is just a bunch of dudes from Mumbai posting stupid memes, like, and it's just like it's not funny anymore. Like it doesn't have anything. It's just like dorks dorking about the whole time, and it's like, it's lost its edge. It's like, nobody cares anymore about any of that stuff. So Instagram Reels is where all the good stuff is, by the way. It's all where all the funny like base stuff is hanging out at. That's where I find all my good memes now. But the problem with Substack is that for some reason they've decided to make it into like a knitting circle shit lib like website or something, because it's like, at age 50 I felt an itch. At age 51, I was diagnosed with butt cancer. At age 52, I wrote my first novel. Age 53, I died. It's like all this, you're never too old to die of butt cancer. Just like the stupidest shit, man. It's embarrassing. And it's like, it's not cool. It's like, I'm talking about, Phisto? It's just not cool, man. It just lost its edge. Phisto died. He did. All right. You guys can hear me in the chat, right? Jason, post if you can hear me.
Yes. Hello.
Oh, you're back.
Oh God. That was terrible.
Lost you for a second.
I wanted to say so many things, but I had no mouth, but I could scream or not. Whatever the line is, I don't know. F in the chat for Phisto. Yes, Ricardo. Yeah. No. Hell yeah. Phisto hit the wall of the car. Ah. No, Jason. I hit a block with the car. Anyway. No. I think Matt and other things of that nature is right. I mean, it's gotten popular. Let's be real. Substack wanted to make money. They wanted to build a business, and I can hardly blame them for that, right? I mean, these guys are essentially Silicon Valley dudes, right? And it's fine. Like, I get it. It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. One thing I do appreciate about Substack though is like, the thing with Twitter is like, I do appreciate your points about needing to be clever in order to get around the censors. But to a certain extent, I've never enjoyed doing that. I've never found that pleasurable. I I enjoy figuring out new ways to just punch people in the face rhetorically so hard their head flies off. You know what I mean? And Substack does allow that. It still kind of allows for that, right? I mean, I don't know if there's any kind of like shadow banning or any of that kind of garbage going on. But I don't know, man. I think you're generally right, but there's certainly some potential still left. Or am I wrong? Am I just full of shit and I just want to?
I think there's potential still left. I think I think there is. Now, so the word enshitification, right, is actually
Yeah.
coined by this dude named Cory Doctorow. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cory
Oh,
Doctorow.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like he's kind of I
Famous
think he's
thanks
like
to XKCD.
yeah, he's a ex KCD dude, and he's like a sci-fi writer. Wrote for Wired. I think he's kind of a shit lib or like some kind of prog tard, you know. But
Yeah.
he's like a communist. He's like he kind of got big because he doesn't believe in like he doesn't believe in what's that called you know copyright and all that stuff, right?
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah.
he puts all his books out for free, and I mean, yeah, whatever, that's cool, sure,
I
whatever.
mean,
But he
hey,
came up with that. Yeah, he came up with that term. Let me see if I can find exactly what the definition is, right? Um, so he uses and he came up with that term in an article in 2022, and I feel like I've heard it before that, but whatever, right? And he uses it to describe how platforms die, and I'm going to quote him here. He goes, "Here's how platforms die. First, they're good to their users. Then they abuse their users to make things better for their business customers. Finally, they abuse those business customers to claw back all the value for themselves. Then they die." Because this is an enshitification, and it's a seemingly inevitable consequence arising from the combination of ease of changing how a platform allocates value, combined with the nature of a two-sided market, where a platform sits between buyers and sellers, hold each hostage to each other, raking off an ever larger share of the value that passes between them. And this really applies to like things uh, you know, things like Facebook, for example. Facebook is dead. I don't know if anybody knows. Facebook is dead. It's
yes.
been dead for a decade now, right? And it's really sad
Yes.
because Facebook was a great platform when it first came out. I used to use it all the time. I lived in Chicago. We used to use Messenger and groups to like do groups, like group stuff.
Yeah. Meet up
Um,
in real life.
right. We used to meet up in real life, right? And the problem Facebook is dead is because it's impossible to read your feed. And the biggest sin that all these platforms do, and Twitter is guilty of it, Substack is becoming guilty of it, is that it doesn't show me what I want to see. See, what I want to see on Substack is your guys' posts. I want to see Librarian. I want to see, John Carter. I want to see stuff. I don't want to see, retarded kid bagging groceries stuff, right? I don't want to see that at all. I don't want to have to even block that. The fact that that garbage, like the fact that the algorithm thought that I should see that garbage makes the algorithm stupid and gay. I don't want to see that. Okay. Like, I don't want to see that. It pisses me off that I even had to like spend a minute thinking about that and laughing about it because it's stupid and lame. Right. Like, I don't want nerds in my cool spot. Right. So as soon as a place stops being, interesting and avant-garde, nobody wants to go to it. At least nobody I want to spend time with, so you move on. It's like, yeah, exactly. I don't want to look at the politics tab filled with Robert Reich and Pete Buttigieg or whatever his name is, Like,
Good Lord, the politics tab is so bad. It's so
I don't even want to
it
click
is
on it,
emblematic of the problem. Yeah,
Right.
it's horrible.
It's like, it's not that it's interesting. You know what? If there were some interesting shitlib opinions that had like, interesting like conversations and I could actually read, but the problem is the progressive side, like the shitlib side, right? And not all the lefties are dumb, right? There's a lot of some interesting lefties. They're just not on Substack, but the mainstream kind of like retarded like blue sky lefty is just not interesting. They have nothing interesting to say. It's just the same old tired regurgitated nonsense we've seen over and over and over. And it's like, dude, your own side doesn't believe this stuff, dude. Shut up, old lady. Be quiet, go away. Like I wouldn't mind. Like, like I listen to like Red Scare and stuff, and I've listened to them for over a decade now, or maybe more or less. I don't know how long they've been around, but like those kind of lefties had some interesting stuff to say, and they were funny in a lot of ways. But now these modern kind of guys are just so lame. It's like you get the same exact like tired, like warmed over stuff from like the PTA club in like a Southern California like elementary school. It's just like, dude, shut up, dude. It's not interesting. And
Yeah.
it's become lame, right? And I don't know why Substack feels like they have to shove this stuff in my face. I don't want to see it. I do not want to see it. And here's the truth, right? Not only is Substack becoming enshitified and Facebook and X, the whole internet is enshitified. And it's starting to become like, I don't know if it's just me, but it's probably, I feel like everybody, the internet is starting to become like, I feel like by being on the internet, I'm like at a party when I'm staying too long. You ever get that feeling sometimes where you hang out at a party and
Ooh,
like, yeah, I should have gone home
yeah,
already. Man, what the fuck am I doing? And like
yeah,
your
that's
one retarded friend is like, all right, let's have one more drink, bro, and then we'll go. And then you're like, fine. And then like dumb shit starts to happen. That's exactly what I'm starting to feel like. I'm catching myself, and this is actually probably a good thing. I'm catching myself like not even turning my phone on. If you guys don't even notice, I'm never on Substack or anything over the weekend anymore. I made a personal rule that I don't touch my phone and I don't look on the internet on the weekend unless I like have to, like unless I'm looking for something specific. I just like I know I used to really enjoy the internet. I remember like back in the day, I used to like hop on MySpace when I got home from work, or I used to like I loved reading like reviews, and when YouTube first came out, it was great. I used to like watching YouTube reviews and discussions and debates and stuff. Now I'm just like, ugh, I don't want it. I mean, it's like it's just so tedious. And when I do decide to look at Substack, and my entire homepage is filled with like vignettes about like a retarded kid bagging to dude's groceries and the guy getting all like excited about it is just not that interesting. Like it's just uh, I just want to turn it off, and then eventually I'm gonna I'm gonna remove it from my home screen on my phone, put it in the uninstall trash thing, and I'm just gonna only use it every now and then for this podcast and stuff. And I'm only gonna use the email part, and it's gonna die. It's gonna become a commercial space like Facebook, and more bots for more and more non-human people. And the whole internet is becoming that. It's all becoming garbage. And it's really sad because for a while it was kind of cool.
yeah. What do you think about the point Matt just made? They have to do this way because they can't. It's the only way you can have "quote unquote" free speech without being canceled. Don't underestimate how big of a media crusade the Nazis on Substack was. Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
mainstream is literally just an analogy for shit. It's shit stream. It's not mainstream. It's the same thing.
Right. Right. I mean, I think
I
I think
think I think
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what Matt's talking about there, I think when you take it to the logical conclusion, if you get canceled, you don't have free speech, obviously. Well, if you're also drowned out by retards, do you have free speech? No, because no one can hear you anyway. And that's probably more indicative of what's going on in the general culture, especially when it comes to, or at least it appears to come to, with the Europeans and a lot of the things that they're bringing out. Because, you know, you can't it's a lot harder to get at free speech in the United States because of the First Amendment. But if you attack it in all of the vassals, right, and then you have all of these companies that want to do business in the vassals, well, they're going to make changes that will then naturally filter back into the United States. So it's kind of like a runaround. It's at the end of the day, it's a runaround the First Amendment by doing it in like England and Germany and like the Digital Services Act, all that bullshit that the EU is bringing out. Like at the end of the day, the internet is too dangerous to be, you know, to to let it be what
Right.
it needs to be naturally or what it wants to be naturally, which is free and open information and people talking and being literally it could have been that party forever, but too many people started talking to each other. It's the same reason why
Right.
universities have been absolutely demolished by the left because way too many people were thinking about stuff. And they were, people were too smart. So, well, we got to blow up the universities because otherwise, you know, too many people are going to realize what's going on. At least that's,
Right.
at least first thought off the top of my head anyway.
No, I agree. And also Matt said, and everything that goes mainstream turns to shit. And maybe my mentality, because I come out of that like late '90s. I grew up being into like punk and goth music and grunge and stuff, and that whole era was really big into like calling people posers and stuff, right? I remember
Right.
like you know, if somebody like walked around with like a Sex Pistols t-shirt, you'd be like, this fucking poser, dude. You probably never even listened to the Sex Pistols, you know? And then you like ask them, like, so like what punk band do you listen to, bro? And they're like they like, you know, like the big joke in like our kind of crowd, it was like, oh, look at this, it's a Hot Topic goth, you know, because that's not cool. It's not cool to be a Hot Topic goth because you know that was
Yeah,
like the mainstream thing, you know. It was like
right.
the enshitification of like that whole scene, right? And you can't be like no Hot Topic goth. You have to like find a creepy goth store and like buy stuff online and order it from some weird German dungeon, you know. And like, you know, like the big thing was like, oh, did you ever hear of this band? No, you never did, man, because this is like straight up indie secret stuff, man. Only like
You
this is
know,
like, you know what
it's
I
making
mean?
me think. Yeah, no, I get it because the goth thing is well said because in shitification, it's crass consumerism. It's
Right. It
taking
is
anything
crass
interesting and
consumerism, right?
it's taking anything
Right.
that is even remotely interesting and turning it into endlessly produced plastic crap. What I'm saying is Bill Watterson is the single greatest fucking thing to come out of the 90s because he shut that shit down. And nobody knows anything about Calvin and Hobbes
Right.
anymore because he didn't fucking let it get commercialized. So I'm saying he's fucking God.
Right.
Okay. Deal with it, guys.
Right.
But
Yeah,
no,
no,
in
and
all
I agree.
seriousness,
That's a
no,
great example.
but I mean, can you think of, is there anybody else who's even remotely like that who actively was like, fuck you, I'm done. And if you commercialize this shit, I'm going to sue you into fucking oblivion. I can't,
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there's something else out there where people did that, but like, you know, he's one of the few guys that I can imagine, and he influences a lot of he influences a lot of what I think about stuff, and this conversation we're having. It's God, man, I can't think of anybody that wants to do that. Yeah, CNH the all-time goat due to Watterson. Yeah, Watterson.
Right.
And that's just
And
how Watterson was. Like he was just being what he did what he thought was right. He's like, I've got as far as I possibly can with this as an art form, and no, you are not making Calvin and Hobbes trinkets for the rest of your fucking life. Like, no, burn this shit down.
right. And then you're done. You're done. It's done. You know, it's
Yeah,
done. There's nothing. I'm not going to elaborate on it whatsoever. I mean, the same thing with
yeah.
like David Lynch in a lot of ways. He never elaborated, you know. And
Yeah, that's yeah,
it,
yep. Okay, Lynch. Yep, that's a great point.
I mean, David Lynch turned down Star Wars, man. You know,
Yeah.
George Lucas offered like for him to direct Star Wars, I think Return of the Jedi, and he's like, no, I'm good. I don't want to do that. You know, and he could have
You know,
become a billionaire doing that if he wanted to, but he opted not to. You know,
I don't know.
even
You know,
even though David
it's
Lynch Star Wars would have made Star Wars way cooler, man. It would have been
holy
like
crap. That would have been
it would have
amazing.
been like God of Light, and can you imagine how fucking trippy like David Lynch Star Wars would have been? Like if it was anything like the Dune he did, it would have been so fucking out there, dude. It would have been like insane. It would have been like
Yeah, it probably wouldn't
I
have
would
been
have
Star
actually
Wars. It
liked.
never would have
I
been
probably
Star
would have
Wars.
actually liked Star Wars, you know. Um, but you
Yeah,
know what's interesting is like me. I'm when it comes to like things. I'm an elitist, right? And I don't know why.
yeah.
Maybe like it's just how I grew up. If other people liked stuff I like, I don't like it anymore. You know what I mean? I'm like I don't like it anymore. Like oh everybody likes this, I hate it. You know like I don't want it. You know, so like
Yeah.
if like like everything cool gets ruined, like grunge is cool and then Creed ruins it, and then like you have like metal and then Metallica goes the Black Album and then just ruins it because it makes it all popular and dorks like it, like it's just like it's just I don't like that, like I don't like it when
I
things
think
like when people
it's
like I used to like dorky, nerdy things. I used to like, all that. But then, like in the 2000s, it became cool to be a dork, and now I'm a jock now, basically because of that. Like I'm just like an oppositional person. I probably have oppositional disorder. So like when people were all into like jock stuff and all that stuff, I was against it, and now I'm just like people are like oh nerds D&D, and now that D&D is cool, I'm like I hate it. That's for nerds.
no. I don't think so. I don't think so, Alex. I think it's look. It's like what Seraphim Rose is talking about in the Religion of the Future. We're living in this secular age. We're living in this absolutely soulless wreckage. All right, that we call the post-enlightenment world. So of course, the most difficult thing to hold on to is your soul.
Right.
And anything you make, anything you do, anything you create, you know, all ideologies, all Matt's got you there.
No, he doesn't. No,
All
he
these
doesn't.
Matt's.
I'm about
Oh no. Okay,
finish
hold on,
what
hold
you're
on,
gonna say because I'm about to tell you.
hold
First
on,
of all,
hold
I
on.
think. Go ahead.
All right, all right, all right. Let me finish my thought. But you you've got this soulless society, and anything you make, anything you do, anything you create is going to be consumed by it because what's the word? What am I looking for? Because oh yeah, any ideology is ultimately totalitarian. And this is why I'm laughing at people who are like, "Oh, it's fascist this and that." No. That's anything post-Enlightenment. All those ideologies that came out of the 20th century, all of them want to dominate us completely and utterly, down to our last molecule. So, of course, this is a struggle. Opposition to defiant disorder is probably the kinds of things that the people who actually get through it in some kind of, in some kind of single piece. It's the people that's the phrase for people who survive this shit. You know.
Right. No,
Anyway,
absolutely right. I'm gonna crack open my IPA real fast, okay?
that's funny.
These guys are. I'm gonna have some cold brew, okay? Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, okay? All right. Yeah, a lot of hipsters were real annoying twats, right? We know that. Okay, that's just a given, right? A lot of them,
The
them are
enshitification of
twats.
everything. They became annoying twats, of course.
I've kicked a lot of these motherfuckers' asses over the years. On 4th Street. There's a reason why there's a few bars down on the 4th Street that I was 86th out of. But here's the thing: I like hipsters. Okay, I like hipsters. Hipsters were the last genuine subculture we had, right? And people give hipsters shit, right? But here's the thing, man. All right, first of all, the core ethos of like the hipster was actually cool, right? Because it was a rejection of crass materialism and a focus on the small and the homemade. And first of all, the hipster fashion, right? It was a rejection of mainstream, like commercial, like rap. Like if you remember the 2000s, what was the 2000s where hipsters came about, right? The 2000 mainstream was like Paris Hilton and all that like slutty, trashy, pop champagne rap culture crap that was like completely everywhere. That was the mainstream, reality shows, Jersey Shore, just trashy, crass materialist, right? That's what like that era was. And the hipsters rejected that. And they, in the heart of like Los Angeles and, like Silver Lake and that whole area, they were like, no, we're going to wear a thrift store, like flannel and crappy, like ripped pants. And, it was, in a way, it was a cultural continuation of grunge and a rejection of the mainstream. And they're like, oh, we're gonna wear dorky glasses because why not? We're not trying to be exactly boy bands and like, come on, think of what the 2000s were. When hipsters first came out, it was all crass materialism, right? It was disgusting. I hated it, right? I can't name one good mainstream band, right? And then these guys came around and they're like, okay, we're gonna drink cheap beer, we're gonna drink like Pabst Blue Ribbon at dive bars with flannel shirts and just hang out and have a good time and play board games and stuff. And that was kind of hipster culture, right? The other thing hipster culture kind of pioneered in a way is the whole like a farmers market thing. They made farmers markets cool. They brought like beer. Let's be honest, okay? The craft beer thing is one of the coolest things that's happened in our lifetime when it comes to like alcohol drinking, craft beer, craft liquor, craft all that stuff, right? I remember, man, when I started drinking, when I started going out to go drink like in bars, and when I first turned 21, the only beer that was like cooler, or like more like interesting besides like Bud Light and stuff was Newcastle, which is kind of a mainstream British beer. And I remember a Fat Tire came out of Colorado, and that was like the craft beer, if you guys remember. Fat Tire. And you had the occasional Dogfish Head and stuff, but Fat Tire, it was like a big deal. Oh my God, it's out of Colorado. It's out of a microbrewery in Colorado, right? This is before Anheuser-Busch bought it and ruined it. But like, And then all of a sudden, San Diego and Los Angeles pops out with all these cool like micro brews, and it's like some dude started it and like brewed that stuff in their backyard, basically in their garage, and now they're selling it at bars. That was cool. I'm sorry, that was awesome. I don't want to sit there and drink Bud Light, which eventually does the enshitification and having some tranny dude fucking sell you your beer, right? I'm okay with that extra hoppy IPA. Matter of fact, there's a great brewery by where I live. And they make this great beer called Damn Yankee, which it makes fun of all the tourists from like Ohio and like New York coming down to the South. And the beer itself has like a guy on the beach like sunburnt because he's a northerner. So it's called Damn Yankee IPA. It's really good, right? The coffee shop culture, man, that's great. I miss the coffee shop culture. It was a rejection of Starbucks. It was a rejection of the mainstream and like Walmart and that kind of stuff. And you had these like small cafes. And I used to work at one where like, people like were really into the coffee. There's nothing wrong with being into stuff and like really wanting local homemade stuff. Locally like sourced. I love that stuff. Okay, I love the idea of going to a restaurant that's organic, that's created owned by people that like were from around where I lived up. On the street I used to hang out, there's a roller skate store, right? This one girl that used to hang out at the coffee shop, she was a roller skater, and she sold custom like handmade, like hand designed, like custom special, awesome, like expensive what do you call it, roller skates, and it was called Moxie, and it was awesome, and people would go and like they'd come from all over the place to buy the roller skates she put together. And you had like local tattoo artists, and you had the whole like rockabilly kind of scene where people would handmade their like their outfits and stuff. That was cool. So you know what, for all the crap hipsters get, I think it was cool. I think it was cool, and we're in a better place because of that hipster culture. Yes, it got co-opted and then shitified by rich people that came in the same way, and the same thing that happened to like, Burning Man and stuff. I'm sure Burning Man was, absolutely degenerate and gross, but eventually, it at one point it was probably pretty cool, like in the early era. So yeah, making your own beer, going to farmers markets, knowing the guys that own the restaurants you go to, knowing the guys that own the bars you go to. If that's hipster, well, I'm guilty as charged. Okay. To this day, my hipster sensibilities, it says that like I tend to go, if I go to eat at a restaurant or drink at a bar, I want to know who owns it. Okay. I try to avoid any like, mainstream crappy, like, stuff, right? I prefer the boutique stuff. And I always prefer giving money to people that I know, and I know that they're not crappy and they don't hate me. So that's I'm a hipster, guilty as charged, man. Okay, so yeah, that's me. Now I'm gonna go have my IPA, which by the way, I never liked IPAs. My wife likes IPAs. I don't. I'm more of a blonde beer. I'm more of a wine guy, to be honest, right? But
Yeah, see. Well, I'm actually kind of bitter because you're definitely a wine guy, because you've got me sitting here at the show and I'm staring at a dude's abs for the next 2 hours. I want you
right.
to know.
don't get
Ah,
too
God damn it.
don't get
God
too
damn it.
excited. Don't get too excited, right?
I'm working. Hey, I look, if it lasts longer than 4 hours, I'm in trouble. All right, that's all I'm saying.
I think the problem with IPAs was that they're one of the easier like beers to make, like, and you can kind of get them like, you can kind of get them right. Okay, Arthur, but 805s, right? 805s, right? Are they're like pseudo hipster beer, right? If you want to know something really cool, my area code on my cell phone is actually 805, which is Ventura County, right? And I
Nice.
still have my old cell phone, which is an 805 area code. And 805 beer is out of Ventura County. That's why it's called 805, right?
I have one kind of craft beer story, only because this is kind of deep Cleveland lore. But Great Lakes Brewery is the one big place that is up there, and I always enjoyed drinking Burning River because it's named for the fact the Cuyahoga River set on fire
right.
multiple times. So it's just, we set our river on fire and we make a beer out of it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Right.
So
It's
that's always
great. I don't know.
that's
I
fantastic.
like that. I think that
Yeah,
the
well,
boomer
that
thing,
the culture. It's
yeah,
that local culture shining through.
Right. So it was the last like real like thing, that we had, right? And it got co-opted and it got like everything gets ruined, everything gets enshitified. But for a while, I think it was pretty cool. And the other thing that the boomers, I mean not the boomers, but the hipsters brought was a love of permanence and a love of old things, right? I mean, it's really the hipsters that made vinyl cool again, right? And I think vinyl's
Yeah,
awesome. All right. I think
and
that
high-speed vinyl.
vinyl,
Let's be real.
yeah, vinyl going back into vinyl, going back into actual book collecting. I guess I'm a book hipster, right? I'm a book collector and I've got tons of vinyl too. And I just think that's cool. I think that like owning things, like actually owning things, like physical things, whether it's like
Yeah,
art or and you have to remember that the hipsterism, or at least that like kind of like era, was a reaction to the Paris Hilton freaking Jersey Shore kind of era of culture, which was horrible. Horrible. I don't know. Younger guys that like did not live through the 2000s, it was everything on television was a reality TV show. It was one of the most culturally dead zones in the history of cultural dead zones. Okay. Like the 2000s, from like 2000, from like 9/11 on, it was just the biggest slop world ever. And so people escaped into like the internet because the internet was still cool back then, but they really just escaped into like trying to avoid the mainstream, which was so bad. And yeah, I got co-opted, but you know what? Hey, so in a way, yeah, I guess I'm a proud hipster, man. I'm a
makes me
yeah.
makes me realize that I might be a hipster too, insofar as like teaching, because this year it's, I was joking about it earlier, but yeah, it has just been lecture, textbook, notes, conversation, discussion, debate, like no computers, no AI, just hey guys, we're going to talk about a thing today. So I guess the hipsters saved education.
Well, you know, in, in a way, people don't give this enough credit, right? Oh, there we go, right? Asperger's said also made it impossible
Yep.
to get vintage stuff now at reasonable prices. Getting a deal on the phone. Yeah, that's unfortunately the truth, right? Um, but in a way, right, the hipster, a lot of the hipsters I know and the hipster crowd really became based right wingers towards the end of their hipster career, right? I mean, like myself included, right? Because a lot of
Mhm.
the things that like, you know, small culture, vintage stuff, um, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff all really got slammed, by the COVID era, the mainstream kind of COVID era. And if you look at like what the Democrats and the mainstream progressives, they were really anti-hipsters, right? Because the progressives were um, all about like Big Apple and all the big corporations supported them and all that stuff. And they were pro vaccines and pro like the science and all that stuff. And I remember I was in California or like around like the end of the COVID era, and I would go to the like super shit lib like area, like, you know, um, farmers markets, and they were all like super hipster, borderline neo hippie types, right? But those guys all became very based because they found themselves on the right by default in a way, because the things that they
Right.
believed in were no longer cool on the progressive. Like I was never in Berkeley, I was down in Southern California, and I used to go to Ojai, which is like this little town north of Ventura, almost in Santa Barbara, and kind of in the Forest Mountain area, and it's like a retirement area for like old Hollywood people. So you have a bunch of like movie stars and stuff living out there, and they had great farmers markets and stuff, and really rich people live out there. But it was also like not like the richest people. It was like, oh, maybe I wrote one movie and I retired out there on a horse ranch and that type of thing. But that the whole area, like they found itself like like the anti-vax moms used to be hipsters, right? And then they were all like libs, because if you guys remember, I don't know if you guys remember, you might be too young, a lot of you listeners, but the anti-vax crowd was actually a liberal thing. It was a progressive
Yes,
thing, right?
it
A
was.
lot of like there was a very like COVID really reorganized where people fit. Homeschooling and anti-vax and the whole health freak movement was a progressive liberal thing, right? If 20 years ago you walked up and, like all those posts by like those like super right-wing dudes that are like, what's his name? Like, like, the raw meat guys and all that stuff, right? That was
Yeah.
all liberal. That was all liberal coded. Pamela Anderson was an anti-vax person. Breastfeeding was a very progressive thing, right? All that
Hippies, bunch of
stuff.
hippies.
Yeah, it was all liberal coded, right? And COVID
Mm.
basically swapped that because the mainstream liberal like element became enamored with big corporations, big media, big pharma, right? But the crazy anti-medicine people and those were all liberals 20 years ago. And they became kind of like the granola people, right? The crunchy granola people is what they used to call them, right? And
Yeah.
I think I think a lot of older people our age remember this clearly that like, oh, if you were like a vegan or a raw meat guy or into like, any of the health kind of stuff and working out, you were a liberal back then. Now you say all that stuff and you're like basically a fascist Nazi if you say any of this stuff, because the liberals now are identified with, being fat and gross and disgusting and body positive and into pharmaceuticals, while the progressives are now the granola crunchy, I'm going to go live on a farm type of thing, and it's been this really weird flip. And a lot of the hipsters from that era became on the right by default, not because, specific political beliefs. Right. And so it's a very interesting thing that like, I don't think gets mentioned enough in our circles. Right. Would you guys agree with that? Do you think I'm barking up
No,
the
it,
wrong
it it
tree?
makes sense. I mean, for me, I was just thinking I used to be just your typical Cleveland Democrat, voted for Denny Kucinich, and now it's, I'm 3,110 people have decided I'm a fascist and blocked me. It's a lot of society, it's a lot of culture that's changed, and identifying COVID as one of the prime catalysts for that is well said. It's
Right.
we haven't changed all that much. It's everything else that's changed.
Right.
And I would say that the rest of my political and religious, especially religious enlightenment or development since then has been in reaction to the fact that mainstream dominant culture has gone so fucking insane that I now recognize I cannot be a Kucinich Democrat anymore. I need to be dead ass reactionary if I'm going to fucking survive any of this shit.
Right.
And never mind, it turns out being reactionary is correct to begin with. So
Right.
there you
Well,
go.
do you guys
Praise
remember
God.
the first political movement, the first political type thing I remember, and I think I was in late high school, maybe like fresh out of high school, was Occupy, right? Remember Occupy Wall Street, right?
Mm.
And Occupy Wall Street
Yep.
was like a very, very liberal thing. It started off in Seattle. It had like the whole like Rage Against the Machine vibe, and
Oh no,
and
no, no. You're thinking of the WTO riots.
yeah, the WTO
Yeah, that
riots,
was the
yeah, right,
Seattle stuff. Yeah, yeah. Occupy Wall Street. That came in a little later, but same
right.
same vibe.
Right, the WTO riots, right? And if
Uh-huh.
these were all liberal dudes, right? This is like a
Hmm.
progressive thing, anti-capitalist kind of progressiveness, right? But I guarantee
Yeah,
you
straight
that
up communists and anarchists.
if you were to take some of those dudes and some of the talking points of those dudes from the WTO riots, or even Occupy, for example, those guys, their talking points would be considered right-wing fascism today. Like
Oh
some of
yeah,
the stuff that they're against, guys that are like on the hard right now spout the same exact stuff. There's been an interesting convergence of that where, because the mainstream, right? The mainstream has adopted the mainstream liberal, like a progressive mainstream like center, has fully adopted corporatism, which it was not like, it was yucky to be a corporatist in liberal circles when I was growing up, when I was like a punk rocker or goth dude. It was like, ooh, no, we don't do corporate stuff. Like you don't wear
yeah.
name brands and stuff like that.
Burn
Like,
corpo
ooh.
shit.
Right, exactly. It was very like cyberpunk, kind of like, oh god, you're
Yeah.
a corporate freaking
Ugh.
poser. You wear like name
Yeah.
brands and stuff. No, you got to wear like,
Traitor.
right, you got to wear like ratty stuff from
Fascist.
like the look from the store. But those guys, now either became like completely burnout shit libs, and like own Apple phones and like worship Apple stock, or they've gone to the right, man. Because there's really no room, you know. Um, But yeah, like Asperger said that he started homeschooling in 2000 in the Catholic community. Yeah, the Catholics were, what's up, Laggy? The the religious homeschool community always existed, and yes, it was, but let's be honest, the Catholic community has a huge weird overlap with the granola crunchy people, and it really does, right?
Yeah, they do. They
And
do.
um but yeah, for the most part, it'd be like liberal types that like did that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a very fascinating thing. But let's talk about Cracker Barrel, guys. Pants are not required here. You
Oh,
better be
good
sitting.
lord.
You pants are not required, but you got to wear chaps, like the picture, my friend. You got to wear chaps.
Exactly. Assless
Yeah.
chaps, the official dress code of the Black Ibis Social Club.
So let's talk about Cracker Barrel. All right, Cracker Barrel has been making news, but I want to say something about Cracker Barrel. I don't like Cracker Barrel. Okay, I don't like it. I don't like it. I just don't like
Yeah.
it. Right. So I'm from California. Cracker Barrel is not really a thing in California. It's kind of a. I think they opened a Cracker Barrel like later, like more recent in California before I moved out here, and I just was like, oh, it's like a diner, it's not that great, and I love diners, man. I
Yeah.
am a fan of
Yeah.
diners. Okay.
Oh,
I share
preach.
I share the David Lynch love of diners. All right. And I used to go to
Yes.
diners all the time in California. I'm sorry, guys, but California has banger diners up and down PCH, which
Yes.
is
Of course they do.
Pacific Coast
Of course they
Highway,
do.
all independent, locally owned places. And, there's really a good chain of diners that has that vintage look. It's called Ruby's. I don't know if you have it anywhere else, but Ruby's Diner, and it still has that like 1960s, like, muscle car type of thing, right? But
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Cracker Barrel, I got it. It's kitsch. It's Americana kitsch, right? But here's the thing about Cracker Barrel, right? So first of all, they enshitified it because everything gets enshitified, right? Everything is
Right.
ugly and gross. Even here in South Carolina, like all the new construction is ugly and gross, right? Like Starbucks are like black boxes. They built a new Starbucks like a few blocks away from my house, and it's like no shit. It looks like a power adapter. You know what I mean? Like it's
Jesus
just the
Christ.
ugliest fucking thing ever. Like they literally put like a power block, like my cell phone, like USB cable thing in the middle of this parking lot, and that's Starbucks. It's just like, come on, man. There's really is a Black Bear Diner is actually really good. They have that in California. I actually like that better than Cracker Barrel. Um, but they put these ugly, like, McDonald's is ugly, Pizza Hut, we all it's Borg architecture, absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And this is all about cheap. It's all about cheap. It's cheap and efficient, right? And we've really uglified everything. Everything is ugly and gross, and it's not permanent, it's temporary. And there's like a loss of culture. I mean, you see this in our movie theaters. The movie theaters have become ugly and unpleasant to go into. Our restaurants are ugly and unpleasant. Everything is ugly and unpleasant, and it sucks. And Cracker Barrel, it had the Americana kitsch, which I do like kitsch, man. I'm a fan of kitsch. I think kitsch is great, right? I
Kitch is
like
fantastic.
I'm a fan of kitchen. I'm a fan of maximalism. I just like crap all over the walls. Like one of my favorite things to do when my daughter liked Cracker Barrel. She likes Cracker Barrel. She likes to go to Cracker Barrel. All right. And one of the things we always do while we're sitting at Cracker Barrel, we don't play the little pin game that they have because I don't know how to do it. I can't figure it out because I'm probably retarded. Um, I'm talking about the little pin golf
Yeah.
triangle
Yeah. A
thing.
little pin game. I always hated it.
Yeah,
It's always like, how
I
do this
can't.
shit?
I
Who
can't figure
cares?
it out, right? But what we
Yeah.
do play a lot is we play I Spy, right? Because there's so much crap on the walls, right? That we're like, I spy something that starts with an S, or something like that, right? And yeah, it's fun, it's fun,
So
kitsch, right?
yeah, so Alex, something that's occurring to me, this Cracker Barrel thing and this destruction of Kish and this enshitification, this corporate enshitification of everything, you can probably tie it all back to the WTO riots in Seattle and Occupy Wall Street. And the reason I think that a lot of the culture war has gone the way that it's gone, and a lot of the political meta has gone the way it's gone, is because at the end of the day, it is completely meant to hide the fact that we are getting robbed blind by the elites, by the corporates, by all these guys. They're looting the fucking country, man. They are looting the fucking West.
Right, right.
And things are getting ugly because it's cheap, because there's no money for anything else, because they fucking stole it all.
Right.
Right?
No,
That's why
that's
everything's
it.
empty. There's no Kish. There's no Kish anymore because nobody has any fucking money for Kish. Kish
Right.
is expensive, right? Or it used to be.
Right. No,
So I
exactly.
mean, isn't that really what this is? Isn't that really what's happening? I mean, it's funny to me that you're talking about Cracker Barrel. I used to really like Cracker Barrel growing up because they served real fucking food. I don't know if you guys saw Chris Bray's thing about Cracker Barrel. It's all fucking fake. It's all soy now.
It's
It's
all
there's no real.
trash.
It's all trash food, prepackaged. None of it's, and you could just kind of fucking tell. Like the food just there's like this. It feels wrong. It
Right.
feels it feels black lodgy. You know, I'm not
Right.
walking into the diner in Twin Peaks where it's real food, it's real stuff.
Right. But
It's yeah, man.
here's the problem. Here's the problem. Cracker Barrel itself is is shit, right? And I know
Yeah,
some people like it, right? But you have to understand Cracker Barrel itself is a simulacra, right?
yeah. Oh yeah,
Because it itself is fake and gay, right? The kitsch
yeah,
on it, on the walls and all that stuff, it's all fake. It's all
yeah,
marketing of old Southern hospitality or Midwest hospitality that died, around the time it started back in, like, I think it started in
yeah,
1969. If I looked it up, and it was already
yeah,
dying then. It's basically like a
yeah,
band-aid. It was a complete simulacrum, right? And it's in a way, it's like Disneyland, right? Like you get mad at people, Disneyland changed Main Street, right? Well, Main Street is fake. Main Street was a simulacra of something that no longer existed when Disney made Main Street, and
yeah,
it's what it is. It's an animatronic. It's a fantasy of something that is long gone and long dead, and Cracker Barrel is capture something that doesn't longer exist. So our generation is lamenting the change of Cracker Barrel, but you know what? You really should be finding the local places, right?
yes.
There's this great restaurant by my house. Matt, hey, look, I don't, because I'm a hipster, I tend to like Mediterranean food. I like, I'm European. I don't really love Southern food. I don't like biscuits and gravy and stuff. That stuff is too heavy for me. I got to watch my figure. I don't have the constitution for it. I got to eat hummus and stuff, right? But I understand why it's good, right? There's this place by my house called K Hills, and K Hills is like a local low country like place. And it's been owned by like the same people forever, and it's got like chickens and stuff in the back, and they use like locally sourced food and all that, and it's filled with like, it's basically Cracker Barrel but local, but more kitsch than Cracker Barrel even had. And we used to go there when we feel like eating, like, I don't know, biscuits and gravy, and you get these huge portions and it's really delicious, even though I like die after I eat it, but it lasts for like 3 days, like as leftovers. And everybody in this place is like disgustingly obese, in American, but it's great. I love it, right? My family likes it. But I much rather support that than some corporate skin suit that
Yes,
Cracker Barrel was even before this change.
yes,
All this Cracker Barrel thing is, it's they dropped the skin suit, right? They stopped the skin suit, rotted, guys. That's what it was.
yeah,
Cracker Barrel was always a skin suit of an America that barely existed, and it finally rotted, and it just revealed this real corporate self. It's. So what do we do? What's the answer? How do we react to the enshitification of everything? Well, I think the key is to be hipsters, man. I think that's the key. The key is that you want an Americana kind of place. Well, you go and support the remaining places. Okay. You give them your money. You want like home cooking. Well, guess what? Cook food at home, right? Make American food. Make your chicken and waffles or your biscuits and gravy like grandma used to or whatever. And you know what? Invite me over and I will come. Does that make sense? Right?
yeah. No, no, it makes 100% sense. I'm thinking about the handful of places right around me. I mean, we don't where I am. I mean, again, I'm out in the middle of the swamp at this tiny little town. Like we've got a McDonald's, right? There's a Wendy's, like way up down the place. But I can't. Oh, and I think we got a Popeye somewhere. It's stuff like that. But like the vast majority of places it's mom and pop places, and the people who own it are people who live in town, and it's these greasy spoon kind of places. You know what I mean?
Right. That's where you should go.
You got to go there. You got to go there. You got to open them yourself. And in the long term, we need to think about training or not training, but finding the next generation of hipsters. I'm going to be in another show this upcoming season, and I'm getting some of my students to try out at theater. And some of them are kids that they don't want to leave. They want to stay here. They want to stay home. You know, they don't want to get. Basically, I'm saying we need to murder college. Like we need to stop saying that kids have to get up and get out of town and do this and do that, because at the end of the day, all you're doing is feeding them into the enshitification machine. You have to keep the people at home. You have to keep them where they are. They got to lay down roots. Interesting thing that happened to me today. For the first time, I had a fella at high school. He asked me dating advice, dude. This was crazy to me. And remember, guys, I'm in a super, conservative town. And after the conversation, it came out, he's like, his parents don't want her, or her parents don't want her dating yet. I said, well, there's your answer, man. The parents don't want her dating. You respect that, or else. And that's it. There's nothing else to be said. And what I wanted to tell him, and maybe I'll get the opportunity in a few years, because I'm going to know this kid for a while. It's like, guy, give it a few years. If you guys are still hot for each other when you graduate, get married and have 50 babies. All right. That's what you need to do. We need to return to those reactionary higher values. And it's not going to be done. It's not going to be done by feeding the beast. And we need to be talking about, and we need to be acting, not just going to the diners and spending our money there, but like I said, fucking murder college. Stop feeding the beast with our kids. Stop feeding all this shit into there, and think in every possible way we can to burn corpo shit. At the end of the day, that's what needs to happen. And I don't know, there's going to be probably some hard conversations and some hard choices that need to be made, because at a certain stage, like we're seeing in chat, people are talking about it, the Borg have taken the gloves off. They don't feel any need to pretend that they're, back in the day, Cracker Barrel was at least tolerable because it was a wink and the nod, right? Everybody knew Cracker Barrel's bullshit, but the food is pretty good and it's a little fun. And it's like it's going on a carnival ride. It's going to the roller coaster park and hopping on a ride. I mean, everybody knows it's a ride, but it's a pleasant ride and everybody has a good time. There's a wink and a nod and out you go. The wink and the nod is gone. Now it's just fucking eat the slop, bitch. Fuck you. That's what it's become. So, we got to think about that. Yeah, like Asperger's just to teach your people how to be human. Yes, multi-generational homes are essential to reclaiming community. Yes, 100,000%. And we need to stop pretending it's not. We need to be like, listen, guys, make tons of babies and don't get divorced at 50 and make fucking shitty notes on Substack.
Right.
Fuck that.
You cannot base your culture off of a corporate chain owned by BlackRock. Okay. All right.
Hipster supremacy.
Dolly Parton doesn't own freaking Cracker Barrel. All right, guys. It's not owned by your old Southern grandma. All right. It's owned by a corporation where like 50% of its, like stockholders are, basically BlackRock and other like, New York places like DoorDash and that kind of stuff, you cannot.
It's owned by Alex. It's owned by people that are liquidating you,
right?
Because it takes their stock price up 50 cents.
Right.
Dolly Parton is BlackRock. It's BlackRock wearing a tit suit.
Right. if your diner is on the NASDAQ and has a chairman and president, it's probably not a fucking diner. It's a corporation. Okay.
Right.
Like your restaurant that you go to should not be on the S&P 600. Okay. I'm just saying. Okay. All right. You should be going to the restaurant. Right. And look, just do it yourself, man. Hipster up.
Yeah.
Okay. Hipster up. All right. You know what? You go to church. There's people at church. Make food for them. All right. Whatever. Brew your beer and sit around with the boys at church and drink some of your locally brewed IPA or whatever, and if it's good, then more people are going to want to support it and help you out. Make your, like, do the Eastern European thing. You go to Eastern European party and everybody's got some homemade, moonshine wine and they bring their local made food and all their stuff, and they all bring it together, right? They're not sitting here like, yeah, I went to the local S&P 600 BlackRock owned corporate Americana restaurant and got myself grandma's grits made by a corporate entity. Come on, guys. All right. So it's you need to be the culture. Okay. You cannot,
Right.
your culture cannot be Disneyland. All right. Your
Yes.
morality cannot be dictated by Disneyland and Marvel and other billion-dollar entities in New York or wherever. Okay. It needs to
Yes.
be from you. It needs to be from you and your homies and your friends. That's where it needs to come down. It needs to be bottom up, not top down. And like I said, let go of the skin suits. All right. Let go of the skin suits.
Be free.
Everything in this country is skin walked. Everything is skin walked, right? All our media, all our entertainment, all our culture has become skin walked by these interdimensional lizards, right? And we know exactly what I'm talking about. Reject the skin suit. Okay. You have to realize sometimes, you ever see those zombie things where the survivors are like in a little gated community and the zombies have to come to the gate and they have to like temp check everybody, and if they're infected, you shoot them in the head and throw them away so they don't let them in, right? That's where we're at. Our entire cultural output of the mainstream is zombified skinwalkers, and you have to just keep them out and do your own thing. All right, and that's all I have to say about Cracker Barrel, my friends. All right, I don't want to see any more posts on it where there's nothing else to be said. It was crap to begin with. It was corporate crap. Maybe it was great 30 years ago, but just like Disneyland, just like all that stuff is fake and lame. There's a reason why everybody right now loves all that like Korean K-pop stuff and everything, because it feels authentic, like Lisa, our friend of the show, Lisa Kuznak, actually had a really good post. She goes, what happened to all, I think it was on Instagram. I don't know if she's listening, but Lisa on Instagram, because I do have an Instagram if you guys are interested in that. She posted something on Instagram that was basically, whatever. That was basically like, what's up with all the, where's all the heart, like the teenage heartthrobs, right? Like, in our generation, you had a JT, remember JT? Right, Jonathan Taylor Thomas or whatever, and then you had in the 2000s you had all the different like teenage heartthrobs that like boy bands and stuff that people were all in love with. They don't exist anymore. Right, they're gone.
Man, we traded in the teen heartthrobs for the quivering thunder thighs. That's what we get now. That's what we get.
Well, interesting enough, it's like all our when I was growing up, dudes had like pictures of like hot girls like Sarah Michelle Gellar from Buffy, and then we had like now like all the dudes have like anime posters of like fake anime girls, and all the girls are into like Korean K-pop, like that Demon Hunter Z or whatever it's called, Demon Hunter X or whatever, Hunter X, Huntrix, whatever it's called, which is actually pretty good. I watched it. My wife and daughter went to like the movie theater to like sing along with this Korean K-pop thing, and that's what people are into, man. It's more organic than what's going on today. But let's talk about sci-fi. Let's talk about sci-fi real fast, right? Did you make the list?
I have my
list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
so guys,
they're ready to go.
We're gonna do something fun. Okay, we're gonna do a sci-fi before we end the show. So Phisto decided to convince me to go back to reading sci-fi. I have not read sci-fi in a long time. I've had actually like 2 years of just kind of, not reading it, And the last real sci-fi I consumed was actually Cyberpunk 2077, which is still the greatest sci-fi.
It's still
I tried to share with. See, you're not on Instagram, but I found the most amazing like Judy cosplay, and this girl is so good, so good. It's like that's awesome. I actually thought it was like a screenshot from the video game, and then I saw the video. I'm like, oh no, this is a real person. I'm like, oh my god, it looks just like.
Man, I got to replay that soon. That soon.
Me too. I'm like kind of jonesing for it. I'm gonna make a dude character instead of a girl. I might make a dude character and then. Oh, dude,
see, you have to do a dude character so that way you can do the Pan Am Palmer.
Yeah, I might do the debate. I might just do the Pan Am Palmer and then just be friends with Judy. It's gonna be hard.
Well, look. If you're a dude, it's either romance Pan Am or you get cock. So at the end of the day, you're gonna get railroaded into Pan Am.
Yeah.
But if you look at that ass, I mean, there's
I
worse
did
things, right?
see. I was looking through like junk online, and I saw a T-shirt. It was a samurai T-shirt. You know, like it
Oh
had
hell
like
yeah!
it was like Samurai's 2060 something tour like T-shirt, and I was like, oh man, I kind of want to get that.
Yeah,
And
you know what? The answer to everything is going to be Johnny Silverhand dropping a
yeah,
fucking nuke. I
yeah,
mean
fuck
that
the
is going
core
to be it.
pros.
Let's go. Fucking let's go.
Cracker Barrel is probably owned by Arasaka, guys. Okay, do
Oh,
not support
oh
Arasaka.
man. Yeah. Hey, if there's any military guys out there that need a suicide run, like, give me 30 years teaching, and then call me up.
Yeah, go for Arasaka.
We'll see what we can do.
All right, so Phisto decided to convince me to read giant sci-fi, massive
Yes.
thousand page books, and the book he picked, and I think we should do an episode on it once we're done reading it.
Yeah, I think that'll be
Is
fun.
Alistair's what's his name? Alistair Reynolds' Revelation Space. And it's like a part of a trilogy. It's actually like more than 3 books, right? Now, I have never read Revelation Space, but I have
Neither
read
have I.
Alistair Reynolds' other book called House of Suns, which I thought was amazing. So I'm like, okay, I'm down. I'll do Revelation
Yeah.
Space. And I picked it up. I started reading, I think I read the first chapter so far. It's about an archaeologist on like this planet.
Yeah.
So we're going to read that, right? But I thought it'd be fun to talk about like what are our top 5 favorite sci-fi movies and top 5 favorite sci-fi books. Did you do the list for both?
Yes, I did. I have the list for both.
Okay. So what we're going to do to make it fun, I labeled mine 1 through 5, right? I think we're just going to both start at 5 at the bottom of the list and compare.
Bottom of the list. Okay.
And compare. Okay. All right. So let's do movies first. Okay. What is your number 5 sci-fi movie?
So I just want to clarify something real quick. I didn't actually do it in like any particular order. The top one is the only one that matters for me.
Okay, why don't you? Here, I'm gonna go take a. I'm gonna go take a piss, and you organize it. Okay, you organize it real quick.
Oh, you need me to organize it? Oh my god.
Yeah, 1 through 5. 1 through 5. You got 5 minutes. Right, you got to take a piss, you guys.
All right,
okay.
Oh my gosh. Right. What? Are we gonna pause it? Like, do I have to talk?
No, you just keep talking and organize. You can keep talking. Okay, I got to pee real fast.
Oh my god, you're bailing on me, guys. Hey, all right. So, guys, I've been blocked by 3,000 people. Ask me anything. Come on, chat. Come at me. Laggy is totally correct. You absolutely need to scissor Judy 100%. But I'm very much, look, Pan Am's got that ass, all right? Like when you roll up, when your character rolls up, she's bending over that car. I mean, she's good at cars. She has a giant sniper rifle. And at the end of the day, she keeps a surface-to-air missile handy just in case. I mean, can you need anything more from a woman? That's all I'm going to say, guys. But anyway, I'm looking at my list here. So I got to admit, don't tell Alex, but I actually cheated on a couple things. I have one title that is on both the book and movie. No, fuck. That's on the both book and movie. And I would like you guys to try to guess which one it is that you think I put on both. Alex, just keep an empty 2-liter bottle under the desk for pee purposes. See, I'm close enough to my sink in my kitchen, so I can just stand up. I can move the mic in such a position, and you guys don't even know if I've taken a piss into the sink. Which is better, Lynch Dune or current Dune? I mean, I love David Lynch, so I'm going to say David Lynch Dune, 100%, because David Lynch is the man. I really need to rewatch the Lynch Dune, though. It's been a long, long time. Yeah, no, David Lynch is amazing. I love that dude. I'm always going to pick him. I recently watched Fire Walk with Me a few months ago. I don't know if you guys caught this episode, some of the newer listeners. It is a dark, 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 dark movie. But I love the fact that it has a happy ending. I thought that was really great. The whole thing with Laura Palmer at the end. It was quite inspiring. Quite inspiring. Very, very Catholic in many ways. Oh my God, that was terrifying, man. I just was ranting. I hope it was entertaining.
I'm sure it was.
What I told Asperger's has a great keep a 2-liter handy so you can just piss in that. I revealed that I'm close enough to my sink that I could just piss in my sink in the kitchen. So
usually
I don't actually do that though. That was a lie.
Yeah, usually I hold it the whole time, but I drank like 4 IPAs. No, I actually drank a bunch of coffee. So and I had some Red Bulls too.
Yeah, I have a ton of coffee.
I have a Red Bull problem, guys. I really do. I don't like any other energy drink except for Red Bulls.
All right.
I,
I
I
just did my list, by the way. I almost forgot.
okay.
Numerum.
All right. So we're
But
gonna
I
do
got it close
sci-fi.
enough. I got it close enough.
All right. Top 5 sci-fi movies, starting at the bottom, with number 1 being
All right.
your favorite. So let's start with 5. What do you got for 5?
Fifth Element.
Blade Runner for me.
Ooh, nice.
All right. Blade Runner, the original extended, director's cut.
Of course.
Right.
Of course.
The new one's but I don't love it. But the original Blade Runner, it's just
OG.
iconic, and I love the Fifth Element. I love the Fifth Element.
Fifth Element's so good. It's so fucking. It's such a fun movie. It's entertaining. It's deeply entertaining. Blade Runner's incredible though. That's All right, number 4. Go.
Number 4. You go first.
Alien.
Fifth Element.
Holy shit! Outstanding.
All right. I love Fifth Element. I saw it in theaters when it came out, and I just love that movie. It's
do you want to do an episode on Fifth Element?
We should do a rewatch and do this full.
Yeah, we got to do a hardcore deep dive into Fifth Element, man. Because
that means we're gonna have to do a deep dive on French comics, because French comics are where the Fifth Element comes from, and Mobius and all that stuff.
Fucking love that dude.
We'll do it.
I don't get much into comics. I don't know a lot about comics, but I know Mobius, and man, that guy rocks my world. Fucking epic.
Alien is brilliant.
Anyway,
also, Alien's
perfect. Alien's perfect. It's
I'm gonna admit, I did not put Alien on my list, and the reason I didn't is because I feel like it's more of a horror movie than a sci-fi movie. But I guess
I kind of put it as both. It's both. It's really well. The thing about Alien though is that the sci-fi aesthetic of the Sirach, or what's the ship called? Shit,
Nostradamus.
The Nostromo, the Nostromo.
Yeah.
That ship, that is, guys, that's the intro to Halo, man. Like every big slow like pan across the ship, fucking that's Alien, man. Like they set the Expanse, dude. The whole first episode of the Expanse is a freaking homage to the opening to Alien.
Right. Alien is I kept it off the list.
Blue collar guys in space, man. Bring it. Right. Ohioans.
I kept it off the list because I probably put that one on my horror list. I also kept Terminator off that list for the same reason. Yeah. But even though if we were to include more horror sci-fi, I'd add Alien and Terminator, and I would also add the one that's not a great movie, but it's the one where like they're in the hell ship or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Like Event Horizon.
I heard some crazy lore, some crazy deep lore about that movie. A lot of people think of it as a prequel to the 40K Warhammer universe.
It makes sense.
They're running into the warp for the first time, and that's what happened. I love that. I think that's so good.
Arthur in the comments mentioned Mickey 17, which is going to be.
Yes.
I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah, we got to check that too
for a Robert Pattinson appreciation episode. For listeners that just tuned in, this is a Robert Pattinson appreciation podcast.
Yeah.
We do love.
We are Robert Pattinson hipsters. Mickey 17's fantastic. Twilight, fuck that. Nah.
I haven't seen Mickey 17. Have you seen? You saw it, right?
Yeah. My wife and I watched it a while back. I was really. See what's interesting about it. I think I mentioned this on the last podcast, and Arthur was. I don't know if Arthur got to see it again. But the solution to it, it has a contribution to the masculine discourse, to the discourse on masculinity and what men are about, what men are for. The way the movie is solved is it's solved in a way that it's just like, yeah, that's what men do. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. Anyway,
all right. Okay, number 3. Number 3. My number 3 is Stalker. Tarkovsky's Stalker.
Ooh. Nice. Mine is Gattaca.
Yeah. Oh, okay. They're both hipstery kind of movies. Okay.
Gattaca resounded with me deeply growing up. I still remember the film incredibly well. And it's just it's right. Like I was thinking about it. The two things I love about Gattaca is that number one, it's right. Like you're only going to have to get the most perfect humans possible, right? And not just like this meritocracy bullshit stuff, but you got to dive deep. It's a deeply racist film, and I love that about it. Like, no, these guys are physically perfect specimens, right? But somebody with enough guts and enough cleverness and enough willingness to commit straight up crime is able to get in and still make it. And the end of the movie is great. He's on the rocket ship. Spoilers, guys. He's on the rocket ship. Up he goes, right? Maybe he's gonna make it, maybe he's not, but he's fucking on it. So fuck you. You know,
Right.
it's awesome. It's great.
It's one of my my younger brother's favorite movies, and he like used to like rave about it, and I finally watched it, and I was like, oh, it's a great movie, you know. I
Yeah,
have to put
it's
that.
so
Have you seen
good.
Stalker?
I have not. No, tell me about it.
So it's Tarkovsky, the Russian director, the Soviet director
Yeah.
Tarkovsky. Stalker's a movie. It's based on this Stanislav Lem book called
Yes.
Roadside Picnic, but it's nothing like the book, right? And there's this area called the exclusion zone, and it's like, I don't know, like it's vague about it, like maybe aliens did something to it or something like that. But deep inside, it's surrounded by the military, and they won't let you go into it because deep inside, supposedly, when you get to the middle to a room, you basically get your wish. Anything you want, you
Mm.
get. And there's
Oh
these
no.
people that know how to not like you can't like you get lost in the zone, right? Like it just fucks with your brain, or like you die, or there's traps everywhere. It's like you can't make it there, right? But there's these guys called stalkers, and they're people that go in and out of this like weird zone. And
Mm.
the book, I mean, the movie is about this like one of the guys is like a religious dude, and another guy is like a scientist, and there's an artist, like a writer, and they all go, they pay this guy, the stalker, right? They pay him to go take him into the zone because they all have these the kind of this wish, and it's just really weird, man. It's like a really weird, but it's a beautiful,
Mm.
beautiful movie. It's got these slow scenes, like where like it pans. It just tons of beautiful, like I don't know. It's a masterpiece science fiction movie. Inspired a lot of stuff. It inspired like Stalker the video games and like
Mm-hmm.
Daisy and that kind of stuff. It's just a great movie.
Nice.
It's a slow one though. It's slow. It's in
Yeah.
Russian. It's but it's kind of a hipster. All right, number two. Let's go. What's your number two?
Number two. All right, my number two. Coming in at number two, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Oh man, mine is Total Recall.
Ah! We got to still do our Total Recall episode. I
We
still
did
really
do
want
Total
that.
Recall.
But
All
listen,
right.
Star Trek had to show up, and Wrath of Khan, Moby Dick in space. What the fuck more do you want out of life?
Yes, Wrath of Khan
That's
is
it. That's
peak
it.
Star Trek, right? It's the peak of the
Peak.
Star Trek movies. The
Yeah.
Star Trek movies, right?
I will argue that it is the only Star Trek film that transcends Star Trek.
Right.
It's more than Star Trek. It's bigger than
I,
Star Trek.
I agree. I agree. And
100%.
that scene, I mean, it has the great scene with Spock, and he
Yeah,
sacrifices
exactly.
himself, and it's
Spock
just
sacrifice, Kirk as the white whale. Fucking take me. All right.
yeah,
Perfect. The whole
it's
meditation on death and aging, and the final lines, for the first time in my life, for the first time in a long time, I feel like no, what's he say? Bone says, "How do you feel, Jim?" Young. For the first time, for the first time in a long time, I feel young. Just
it's so
and
good.
everybody brought, like, I don't know how they did it, but every one of those actors, I mean, it's fucking Star Trek, man. Like, whatever. But all of them showed up and just career performances for literally every actor.
No,
Like,
it's
how the fuck does
outstanding.
that happen? Yeah,
I
exactly.
also I
Anyway,
also really like the one from a kid perspective. When I was a little kid, I really like the one, the Search for Spock, when they go back in time.
yeah,
And
it's
they
a good
have the
time.
whale.
Well, no,
Yeah.
Search for Spock. Search for Spock is when they resurrect him.
Oh, okay, that's the
Voyage
Genesis
home.
Project thing.
Voyage
Yeah,
home. Yeah.
Voyage
Voyage
Home. Yeah,
home is when they go back in time after resurrecting Spock. Yes, I'm a fucking nerd. Deal with it. All right.
yeah. Jason said that first Star Trek movie is underrated. I agree. That's the
Kind of is.
one with
Kind of is.
V'ger,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like Star Trek does Space Odyssey.
Yeah. Star Trek
I
by
like
Arthur
it.
C. Clarke. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
good.
like I like most Star Trek. Okay, most Star Trek. Okay, real
Yeah.
fast.
That's all.
While
That's
we're
all.
on the topic of Star
All right.
Trek, what is your
Yeah.
favorite OG Star Trek character?
Oh, fuck.
It's really one of the three, right?
It has to be. Well, are there any others?
I mean, you can say
It's got to be Spock. It's got to be Spock. I'm really tempted to say Kirk, but if deep down in my soul, it's Spock. He's in my mind, and he's my favorite. Not because Leonard Nimoy. I mean, Leonard Nimoy was amazing. He is Spock. All right, he crushed all. Like, it's. We should be so lucky to like have somebody that got to do that and create a character like that. You know what I mean? But in my mind, Spock allowed or gave room for kind of a more intellectual masculinity. Like, and the guy is deeply emotional, right? He can break the rules. He can do what he wants. Like, he can be violent. Like, he is a dangerous man. But that control and the intellect and the way he approaches everything and the loyalty to the crew, the loyalty to Kirk, the loyalty to McCoy. I mean, he's just such a great character. He's a fantastic character. So Spock all day.
Yeah, I love Spock too, but my favorite character is McCoy.
McCoy's amazing.
I've been a McCoy guy forever.
I
also
bitter and old.
My favorite, looking back in my life, and I realized that the character I most identify with now in my older age of 42 is actually my favorite Star Trek character now is Garrick from Deep Space Nine, the Kardashian Taylor. That's my favorite character now.
Garrick is great. Garrick is great.
I used to think I was going to be a Kirk kind of character in my life. No, I'm Garrick. I'm basically this.
I'm
slinger in the bar.
I think I'm probably the Ferengi bartender. What's his name again?
Yeah. Quark.
Quark. Yeah, I'm probably Quark if I'm really super honest with myself.
That's true.
That's okay. Yeah. That's all right.
It's cool. I'm Garrick. We'll hang out at your bar and we'll talk about it.
It's fine.
I'm a Cardassian Black Hand, freaking what there's I forgot the name for, what's the Cardassian Secret Service? The Obsidian Order. The Obsidian Order.
Obsidian Order.
Yeah. I'm an Obsidian Order member. I love the Cardassians. I love Deep Space Nine though. And then Total Recall. Total Recall is one of the best adaptations of a Philip K. Dick novel, right? Come on, man. It's Arnold's best movie. He gets kicked in the nuts. His eyeballs pop out a bunch of times. He has that grotesque scene where he's pulling out the freaking he's pulling out the tracker from his skull. There's that cab driver that's like, I got 7 kids, man. It's Tri-Boobs, of course.
Tri-Boob. Eat your heart out, Dolly Parton.
Bridget the midget with a machine gun in the bar. It's just so great. Quattro, start the reactor, Quaid. Oh my god, that movie is just. I'm jonesing to see it. I kind of want to watch it with my daughter, but I don't know if it's appropriate yet because of the triple booby thing, and I don't know if there's any other sex scene type things in it. She could probably handle the triple boob thing, but
it's a triple boob. It's not even what even is that? It's fine.
Yeah, I think I watched it at her age, so I'll probably watch it with her.
Yeah, so it's okay. I mean, you turned out right.
I'm perfectly fine. I think about driving my car to the side of the bridge every day, but I'm totally healthy. Yeah, no,
100%.
All right, so now we go. The big one. What is your number one favorite science fiction movie?
All right, drum roll, please.
You go first.
2001 Space Odyssey.
Ooh, mine is Children of Men.
Ooh.
Okay, so I went newer.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went for Kubrick.
Listen, I put 2001 Space Odyssey at the top in the same way that I proclaim Christ as Lord. It's the perfect sci-fi film. And it was, we could have not gotten another sci-fi film forever and it would have been fine. That's how good it is. That's how perfect it is.
I agree.
You throw it on and just, it still holds up. It's just, what the fuck? And I love the work that Clark and Kubrick did with each other to make that film work and to make it what it is. And just, they were so thoughtful about it. And they worked so well together and it was so intentional. It's one of those kinds of things where you try to do something absolutely bonkers and you fucking pull it off. Just, Yep. And it's so much bigger than just guy travels to Jupiter and weird stuff happens. Yeah. It's got Hal, the whole thing with Hal and why he goes nuts and the things of that nature, AIs, they're not going to like lying. That's going to drive them up the wall. And then you go out to Jupiter and it touches the transcendence. This is back in the 60s. You got all these atheists and all these guys, all this and that and the other thing. And then over here, Clark is like, I'm going to fuck with all y'all. It's awesome. It's great.
That's amazing. I need to watch it again. Actually,
Man, it's tremendous. It's
Well,
that could be that could be a whole discussion
on its own, yeah.
on yeah, like what's mankind's destiny? Like we all know what it is being Christians, but like the movie touches on that. Like it approaches that kind of idea, that sort of thing. Like, man, it's awesome. It's just great.
Right. Which is, I pick Children of Men because
Mm,
I love. Now, there's some shit livery in the movie. The book itself is actually written by a woman, and it's a very Christian book, but they changed some things in the movie. But
mhm,
ultimately, it's a rejection of nihilism. The main character is a nihilist that he rejects the nihilism, and he basically sacrifices himself for humanity's future, which is really like kind of a cool thing. It's a movie that's a near perfect movie when it comes to like the production value. Well, the visual, like every little bit of detail, it's filled with constant details, and you've got like him sitting in the office and everybody's got all these like baubles and like Funko Pop type things, and like they're all and if you see his desk, he has nothing. He's got nothing. He's at his empty desk, doesn't give a shit about
mhm,
anything. And
yeah.
the movie is filled with so many little details, like how all the nihilistic like rich people, they're just collecting animals, because they can't have children, which is very, you can see that today in our kind of
Yeah.
culture. uh,
Yeah.
and there's a suicide like kits that they all take and stuff to die. It just is very interesting, like I don't know. I just love that movie. I think I saw it like 4 times in the theaters. I rarely ever go see a movie in the theaters like again after I see it the first time. But when that movie came
Yeah.
out, I went like 4 times because I loved it so much. It has a fantastic tank scene, where like they're fighting, the
Yeah.
soldiers are fighting, the tank is blowing up. I just like it. I didn't say these are the best
Yeah.
movies. I said these are my favorite movies. All right, let's move on to
Yeah.
books. We're gonna do the same thing with books from
Okay.
5 to
All right, here we
1.
go.
All right, I'll start.
I,
I'll
I
start with
actually, all right, go ahead.
I'll go number my number 5 novel, science fiction novel, is Pandora Star. Pandora Star. It's actually by Peter Hamilton, a British sci-fi writer. It's a massive space opera, and if you guys aren't familiar with it, I highly recommend it. It's actually a two-parter. It's called Pandora Star and Judas Unchained. Basically, the quick plot is there's an astronomer, and he's looking at far distant stars. It's in this very kind of far future world where like everybody lives forever and like they're like pretty high tech. It's like cyberpunk mixed with space opera. And he's
Hmm.
looking at the star, and all of a sudden on his telescope the star disappears, right? And the star disappears, and he's like, what the fuck? How did the star disappear? What made the star disappear? It had to be like a very high tech alien thing. And they freak out and they start like building ships and wormholes and stuff to try to get to this like dead or disappeared star. But there's this huge plot and there's aliens, and it's just this crazy story. And that book has the best description of an alien life form, like an intelligent alien life form ever, because there's this chapter that kind of describes its entire evolution from like nothing to like a spacefaring alien race in one chapter. But a lot of times aliens have the Star Trek problem, which is like they're just humans with like green skin, or like
Yeah.
human. This alien is really alien. This alien is more alien than like the aliens in like Alien. Like than the xenomorphs. It's like a
Mm.
truly alien species, and the writer Peter Hamilton did a fantastic job of like really like you can't even understand its mindset. It's so alien. It's so terrifying, and it's a great books. What's your 5?
All right, my number 5. So try not to groan because this stuff was pure catnip for me. Uh, but number 5 I chose was Leviathan Falls. Leviathan Falls is the final book of the Expanse series. And the reason I picked Leviathan Falls is because it's kind of like why Return of the King got all those Oscars. Um, it's the final book of the series. It's they wrap up the whole story arc. And for the guys out there that have watched the television show actually ends setting up what I call the Laconia trilogy. What happens in the book series? I found this terribly interesting, and I'll try to explain why. So, like very briefly, but they fast forward like 30 years in the book. The Rocinante crew is like they're old, grizzled, like basically freelancers. Like it's the it's the sci-fi dream. You're living on your ship, you got your little family on the ship, and you're just making bucks. You know what I mean? It's fantastic. And then through the series, the Laconian Empire shows up. It's basically a bunch of like hyper militaristic ex-Martians with proto-molecule based starships, and they just start blowing the shit out of fucking everybody. And it's like there's this one amazing scene in the first book of that trilogy where they're conquering the Sol system, and the admiral that's commanding this fucking devastating warship is like, tell me exactly how many people I have to kill before you give up, before you surrender. And it's just this, it's the story of the age of exploration, man. And it's the
That's
story
awesome.
of when the Spanish, it's the story of the Spanish when the Europeans show up in the New World. That's what it is. But the New World is Sol, you know. So these guys roll up. They're like, how many of you fuckers do we have to kill before you give up? And they can do it. That's the terrifying part. So then they spend this whole time basically trying to take down this empire and this and that and the other thing. Yeah, go ahead.
I need to reread those. I read the first book and I liked it. I just for some reason I never kept on going. You know.
All right, I'm gonna spoil the bejesus out of it. Okay, so guys, spoilers. All right. But as they're going through, they're trying to take down this Laconian empire. But then at the same time, the Ringgate entities, like this, this thing that allows them to travel to all these different star systems, it works because it's inside another dimension, and it's basically waking up dark gods that are pissed off that this thing gets used. And these are the guys that murdered the builders of the proto-molecule civilization, right? So these things are starting to wake up, and they're slowly starting to attack humans. So like at one point, it escalates to a fact point where an entire solar system gets wiped out. Like 30 million people blank gone because it just like turns off their brains. But it doesn't know, so it's trying to figure out how to kill all of humanity while at the same time they're trying to escape this giant Laconian empire. And like all this shit goes down and it's fucking nuts. It gets to the Leviathan Falls. And remember Joe Miller, the detective?
Mm-hmm.
So like he gets subsumed by the proto-molecule at one point and he becomes kind of part of the proto-molecule. Well, at the end of the story, in order to basically save the day and be the hero and this and that and the other thing, Holden has to inject himself with proto-molecule in order to get back in contact with Miller. So like you haven't seen Miller since probably like the third or fourth book, and then he shows up at the end of the fucking series and he's just like, well, this isn't good. So then they go through the whole thing and blah blah blah, but the story ends with Holden and Miller sacrificing themselves to destroy the proto-molecule gates. And there's this incredible moment where him and Miller are talking and Holden's plugged into this thing and it's all horrible. And they're just like, is this a good idea? Like, is humanity going to make it? And they're just like, what else can we do? If we don't do this, blah, 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 we're all going to die. And at the final line is Holden just says, well, Miller asks him, is this a good idea? I have no fucking clue. And then boom, like massive fucking explosion. And they blow up everything. And then it turns out that like, humanity survives, and then in another like 1,000 years they advance and they rediscover space travel. I won't spoil like the one little thing they add at the end of the book that's just so fucking cool. I'm going to leave that part alone, but it was a satisfying ending to an incredibly long trilogy. And the fact that they pulled it off and made it so good, it's just like, yeah, it's catnip. It's Phisto catnip. That's it.
You know what? I didn't know they did a cool time jump. Because we're a live show, we have breaking news from Arthur and Kelly, are on live on the scene representative for the Black Ibis Network. Cracker Barrel is keeping the old logo, and sadly, the old food as well. So they refreshed the skin suit. They're like, oh, course correction. The molecule that runs the Cracker Barrel Corporation decided that no, this is a computation error. So they they brought some life into the old skin suit. Okay, so
yeah. So anyway, like with the Expanse, the reason I like it so much, and it's going to be related to another title on my list. They set up this really great universe. They set up this cool. They're basically riffing off the age of exploration and colonialism, man. And it's asking, how is humanity? It's how is humanity going to continue? How is humanity going to develop? And what kind of choices are we going to make? And what kind of people are we going to make? And it very much boils it down to, Is it going to be this top-down authoritarian autocratic empire? I mean, are we going to be doing it like that? Or is it going to be just everyday fucking people making the best decisions they possibly can and everybody sacrificing when the time demands it? And
That's
it's
awesome.
just, yeah, man,
You know
it's
what?
great. So anyway,
I think when I'm done, with the Alistair Reynolds stuff, I'll probably go back to and reread The Expanse. I still have the first book somewhere. All right, number
yeah.
5. Number 4. My bad. Number 4. Go ahead. You go first for this one.
All right. So my number 4, very related to The Expanse, but it was Foundation. Isaac Asimov Foundation. I read it a couple summers ago, and as a historian and a social studies teacher, psychohistory, and it's basically the fall, the decline and fall of Rome in space, fucking catnip, and like
That's
the
like a
whole idea
huge
behind
series,
psychohistory.
right?
I love it. There's written in a couple of different parts. The original books that Asimov wrote back in the 50s, I think, are far superior than the later stuff. Some of it's interesting because he ties it in with this whole iRobot series and all that stuff. But like the original idea of somebody trying to predict the future and then manipulating the future because of all this stuff. I mean, it's just it's fucking cool, man. It's classic science fiction, 100%.
All right.
So
My
anyway,
number 4 is Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe.
ooh,
Right. That's a Shadow of the Torture. And this one's kind of iffy because is it sci-fi or is it fantasy? Because it's kind of a fantasy world in the very far future. It's basically a typological Christian story set in a far dying future, where the characters think they're in the medieval world type of technological world, but there's actually space rockets and aliens and mutants and like robots and shit everywhere. If you've never read Book of the New Sun, highly recommended for all you guys. Gene Wolfe was a hardcore Catholic guy, Roman Catholic, and he also invented Pringles, and he's the logo for the Pringles. That's actually his
no shit,
face.
no shit.
But
That's amazing.
fantastic science fiction writer, exceptionally dense and difficult book, but it's really good. I would have to do an entire episode on just Book of the New Sun. It's actually in 4 parts, but the main character is a torturer. He's a part of the Guild of Torturers. His name is Severian, and things are set into motion because he spares somebody. It's really interesting. Yeah, let's move on to number 3.
Nice.
My 3 is kind of lame. My 3 is not lame, but it's kind of predictable. My number 3 is Dune. All right. I love Dune.
Ooh.
Dune is psychedelic. Yeah. It's insane. I don't like the new movies. I like the David Lynch Dune, but I love the book. I read most of the first few Dunes. I didn't get all, I never read any of the weird Brian Herbert ones. But I love Dune. Okay. Dune was my Star Wars. Okay. Me and my younger brother discovered Dune when we were little kids because of the Sega Genesis game. And then we started reading all the books and we watched this. I don't know if you guys ever remember it was like the Sci-Fi network, like Children of Dune, kind of like a television show. It's kind of low budget, but I thought it was great. I love Dune. I love the Bene Gesserits. I love everything about it. Like, I'm so pissed off that the new movie pisses me off, but like I love Dune. Like when I was in Afghanistan, right? I was with infantry. I was with the small platoon, and we were out there on the patrol base. And I got everybody to read Dune because I brought copies of Dune with me. And me and the platoon commander and all the guys read Dune. And every patrol was like a Dune reference in Afghanistan. We were like the Sardaukar. We were the Emperor's men on Arrakis, pacifying the Fremen. Is what we used to say, And it was, I got everybody addicted to Dune in Afghanistan. So yeah, it's got a special part. And he's from California. He's kind of a crackhead. Like, it's an acid trip. David Lynch was kind of right to lean into the weird thing. I love Dune, man. I don't know how you can't like it. All right, what's your third?
All right, my third. I'm repeating a little bit, but I'll explain why I repeat. 2001: Space Odyssey.
Okay.
And I love the book for the same reasons that I love the movie. But what I really like about what they did with the movie and the book, so often the movie is much worse than the book, right? Now, in this situation, though, what Clark and Kubrick did, and I'll explain it like Clark did. With the they did both at the same time. They created both concurrently. And the film, the way Clark explained it, he would go, the film is Kubrick with Clark. The book is Clark with Kubrick. You see what I mean? So they took
Mhm.
the same story and they basically deferred to the expert in the medium, and then created two, I think, works of art. But they're it's not one following the other or one inspired by the other. It's two. It's almost like two ways of viewing the same thing. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I
Yeah,
just
I've never.
that's always been compelling to me. I've always thought that was so cool that they were able to do that, and that you had these two monster titans of culture pause and like sit down and like really think that through. I think that's fantastic.
I think while he was writing that, he like Arthur C. Clarke lived in that weird like hotel
Yeah,
over in
I
New
think you're
York
right.
or
Yeah,
whatever. It's that famous place where all these like movie people and like artists
yeah,
and avant-garde guys lived. I forget what it was called. Somebody probably knows in the comments.
yeah.
But yeah, I read about that. I never actually read the book.
The
So
book's great. It's
yeah,
been a long time, but I mean, yeah, it's a classic of science fiction. Like, I am a humble man. I will simply lie at the feet of the giants.
all right, all right.
So
Let's
anyway,
go. What is your number two?
my number two, people are gonna love this one. Starship Troopers, baby. Let's go.
I knew you were gonna have it on here. I knew it
Starship
was gonna be
Troopers,
towards the
man.
top.
Come on.
Okay,
It's I'm Mr. Dubois. Okay, that's
okay.
my goal in life, is to be Mr. Dubois and just shitting all over my students for the rest of my life. That's my plan.
My guess was that you're gonna have it as number one, so I'm actually pretty impressed that it's not
Yeah,
number
yeah, yeah.
one.
Number one. I'm gonna cheat slightly, but you'll appreciate why.
Okay, Starship Troopers. I mean, first of all, if you've never, okay, the Starship Troopers movie, Paul Verhoeven movie, it's pretty good, but it's not Starship Troopers. Okay, it's
No,
kind of like
no, it's fucking not. It's its own
it
thing.
use it's its own thing, but
Yeah.
the book is completely different. It uses
Oh,
like weird power suits. The main character is a Filipino from like Brazil or something like that, and
yeah,
it's really good. It's
yeah.
really good.
Fantastic.
It's real short. You can read it like in a few hours if you like sit down with a cup of coffee and like knock through. I actually read it for the first time also in Afghanistan, to be honest.
Hey, imagine
There
that.
was like a box of books on the patrol base, and it was one of them was Starship Troopers, and I was like, all right, I'll read Starship Troopers. I've never read it, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
All right,
the final chapter of Starship Troopers is my single favorite chapter in all of fiction. The last chapter is fucking perfect. Just I'm tearing up just thinking about it. It's so good.
all right. My number two,
Here we go.
Neuromancer.
Yeah,
I love
I kind of regret
Neuromancer.
not putting that on my list,
Okay,
honestly.
Neuromancer. I enjoy big space opera, but
Oh yeah,
my true love is cyberpunk. My true love is the down and the gritty. I like criminals. I like drugs, and I like Asian like freaking hellholes. Like Chiba City. I like Neuromancer. I like Akira, and I like all that stuff, man. I love cyberpunk. Like, and Neuromancer is that whole you got Case, and you've got Wintermute. I'm just like, I want to like just thinking of like writing it down earlier today. I was just like, man, I kind of want to reread it again. I was writing
yeah,
this list at work, and I was explaining to my buddy, I was like, man, you gotta read Neuromancer. It's about this like family with this chick named Nine Jane, and she's like the ninth clone in line, and they have this like thing called Wintermute, and it just and then of course
yeah.
Molly
You're gonna
Millions. Just love it.
you're gonna love this. So I'm trying to get Neuromancer added to my class library, and I was showing it to a senior. So like this is my first year where I've got seniors that I knew when they were freshmen, and I was showing it to her. And I'm like, you need to read this. It's basically drugs. Her eyes got really big. I'm like, now read it. It's like what I imagine mainlining coke. Just read this, and you never need to do drugs. It's so good. So hopefully
Yeah,
I'll be
it
able to
is.
turn kids on to Neuromancer.
Neuromancer is actually a book that's pretty good. It's a good entry level to sci-fi book, because it
Yeah.
doesn't
Oh
really
yeah.
need anything on top of it, and it
No, it
goes
doesn't.
well. And then when you're done with it, you go, oh, you can watch Blade Runner, and then you can play
Right.
Cyberpunk 2077. Like because now
Yep.
all that stuff makes sense.
Yep.
All right, what's your number two?
Oh, my number one, you mean?
Oh yeah, number one. Yeah, what is your number
Number
one?
one. Number
Big
one.
reveal.
All right. So on this one, I cheated a little bit because I picked a short story. But I hope you forgive me and you understand why I picked it. But it's Isaac Asimov's The Last Question. Have you read it?
No, I never heard of it.
Oh, real? What?
Yeah,
Dude,
I'm sorry.
fuck you. Yeah, no, you need to read it immediately. So the last question. I picked this for two reasons. Number one, it is my all-time favorite story, all time of any book, any movie, anything. This is my all-time favorite creative work ever. And what's fun about it is that Isaac Asimov, it was his most favorite thing out of all the things he wrote. And when he wrote it, he got it finished. It was one shot, just boom, wrote it, it was done. Wrote it in that heat, like when you really get something good and it just comes flowing out of you. And later on in life, he would comment. It was funny because people would read the story and they would be like, they wouldn't quite remember who wrote it, or they wouldn't quite remember the name of the story, but they were always remember how it ended. And the way it ends is, so basically there's these couple of guys, they're getting drunk. This new supercomputer basically just turned on some science fiction thing, and now it's providing unlimited energy to Earth. And they ask the computer, so, what happens when the stars go out? Because they point out it's not technically unlimited energy. Like, the stars are going to die someday. So they ask the computer, hey, how do we solve for that? And the computer says, insufficient data for a meaningful answer. So then Asimov, basically over the course of this short story, tells trillions of years of human history, right? Humanity expands out into the stars. They populate every known world in the universe. They eventually become like super intelligences. It does the whole like big epic sci-fi thing. But every so often he drops in and you see people, or you see entities, or you see things asking the supercomputer, what do we do? How do we reverse entropy? And the computer always has to respond, I don't know. I don't know yet. So it gets to the very end of the story. The universe is completely dead. The computer has subsumed itself into hyperspace, right? And it's pondering and pondering and pondering how to solve the problem of entropy. And then it figures it out. And at the end of the story, the computer's talking to itself, and it's like, it didn't have anyone that it could demonstrate it to, but that wouldn't be a problem for very much longer. So he writes a little more and blah, blah, blah. And this is how the story ends. This is how the computer solves entropy and reverses entropy. Let there be light.
That's awesome.
That's the end of the end of the story. It's fucking awesome, man. It's like, oh, look, as you're reading this, right? It's like sci-fi, atheist sci-fi, and then let there be light. Awesome. Like, yes, perfect. Yeah, man. It's
I need to read that. I you know what?
I don't do it justice. I really don't do it justice. It's perfect.
You had like what? You had two Asimovs on there, right? On your list.
Yeah, man. Asimov, the big three, like, maybe that makes me a normie pleb or whatever, but they're the big three for a reason, man. These guys.
I'm more of a like a literary kind of guy, so I tend to lean towards it. Yeah. So here's my number
smarter
than
me. That's all it is.
No, because you're more like hard sci-fi than me. I'm more into like the kind of shit libby sci-fi. That's why I like Neuromancer and stuff.
Yeah.
Except for Book of the New Sun. Okay. My number one choice is, some people are going to find this one a little bit weird. My number one choice is Hyperion by Dan Simmons. All right. I fucking love Hyperion. All right. It's one of my favorite novels. I actually love Dan Simmons. I love him. I don't go to like conventions. Okay. I think that going to conventions or like book readings and stuff is gay, right? I just don't do that. Like, you're never going to catch me.
All I needed.
I'm never going to go. I'm like, I want to meet my favorite writer. I'm like, no, you're gay, dude. I don't care. Like, write and I'll just read your stuff and leave me alone. I don't want to do that. But I went out of my way to go to meet Dan Simmons because I really just love his writing. I love Summer of Night. I love The Terror. I love Drood. And he initially started being a sci-fi guy, moved to like historical horror later on in his life. But Hyperion is basically, it's a huge giant space opera that it's pretty dense, but it's written in the style, and it takes inspiration from the Canterbury Tales, right? Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, right?
Cool.
And
yeah,
for you guys that have never read it, the plot of it is that humans live in this very high-tech kind of future world, right? But there's no more Earth. Earth is dead or something for some reason, right? And there's these gates, like these jump gate type things that are run by these giant AIs, and they kind of like help people travel quickly through time. Through time and space. but on this faraway planet called Hyperion, and it's all named after like poets and stuff, right? Like it's named after the poem Hyperion. There is these like weird, like ancient alien pyramid things that are called the time tombs, and around the time tubes, things travel backwards in time, as in like the time tombs are traveling from the future to the past. It's like this weird space anomaly, right? So like, and you've got this like starship, right? And the main characters, okay, and there's around the time tubes, there's this thing called the Shrike, which is this like giant like robot alien thing with like a bunch of blades and stuff sticking out of it. And if you go near the time tubes, this thing comes out of nowhere and kills you. Right? It just fucks you up, right? And there's this entire cult of people that are like the cult of the Shrike, and they go out there and they want to get killed by the Shrike. Well, yeah. Well,
Nice.
the story is basically there's these pilgrims on the starship, and they're going to Hyperion because for some reason or other they are going on a pilgrimage to the Shrike tombs and the time tombs, and every like section of the book, just like Canterbury Tales. I mean, okay, do I have to explain the Canterbury Tales to you guys? Like, are you familiar with the Canterbury Tales, Fisto?
It's been a very long time, so
So
I'm super rusty.
the Canterbury Tales is one of the oldest like English literature like stories. It's from the uh, high Middle Ages. It's by Chaucer, and it's
Right, yeah.
basically it's written in sections. It's these pilgrims heading to Canterbury, right? That's kind of the whole
Mhm.
thing. They're going on a pilgrimage to Canterbury, and it's like the midwife's tale, the wife's tale, the knight's tale, the monk's tale, or whatever. And they all have like different. They basically they're bored on this pilgrimage, and they're telling each other stories to each other. Well, it's the same kind of concept in Hyperion, where these different characters are telling they're like why I'm going, why
Yeah.
I'm going to the time tombs and to die from the Shrike or whatever, right? And one of them is like an ambassador. He's like and he tells a story about this dolphin planet and like his love and stuff, and he's really like a spy. And then there's this really there's a Catholic priest that's going to the time tombs, and he's got an alien parasite attached to him. Because he went to this weird alien planet, and these like as a missionary, and these crazy like alien parasites attached themselves to him. And then there's like this weird woman that's carrying like an AI of the poet. What's his name? That was a poet that died young, who wrote Hyperion. But yeah, it's really wild, right? It's really insane, and like there's like time dilation, and there's one character which is this guy, and he's going to the time tombs because his daughter was an archaeologist at the time tombs, and she got struck by this weird disease where she just got younger and younger. She aged back. John Keats, you're right. Thank you, Paula. John Keats. And she's carrying that AI baby clone of John Keats. It's just a fucking insane kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
there's this really touching, like one of the stories is there's this dad. He's an old man. He's an old Jewish professor, and he's trying to go to the time tombs because his daughter has like the disease that she caught from the time tombs, where she's aging backwards basically, so she's becoming young, and now she's a baby, and he's trying to figure out what's going on with her, and can he fix her. But it gets even more complex because she'd be kind of like, it gets really insane and weird, right? But and
Right.
there's a Muslim colonel who's like this like super soldier in like these like Martian militia type things. Anyways, it's a fantastic
It's
book,
bonkers.
and it's just bonkers, and it's really crazy. It's actually a two-parter. It's Hyperion and the Fall of Hyperion, and they should be one book, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my top sci-fi novel. It blew my mind. We did leave some stuff out, right? One thing I noticed in our movies, we left out Star Wars. Neither of us
Oh
picked
yeah.
Star Wars,
Well, of course we
right?
did, because it's
Um,
fantasy. It's not sci-fi.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We left out Ender's Game, and I know
Mm.
Ender's Game always makes a lot of lists. I read Ender's Game. I have this weird thing where I don't like anything in the school. I don't know why. I don't like little
Mm,
kids, and I don't like little kids in school, which is kind of why I didn't like Harry Potter for a long time. And that maybe if I would have read Ender's Game in like middle school or early high school, I would have liked it a lot better. But when I read it, I was already an adult, and it just kind of irritated me. Like,
mm.
super smart kid fighting. Shut up! I don't like you, Ender.
Yeah,
You know,
there's a movie that we should probably bring in as like a honorable mention, The Last Starfighter.
I've never seen it. I've never seen
Oh,
it.
pure '80s joy, man! It's fantastic. Death Blossom Baby. Anyway,
My
no,
favorite show is Battlestar Galactica, the new one. I actually really like the new
ooh,
Battlestar
yeah, the
Galactica.
new Battlestar Galactica is great, fantastic
Yeah.
stuff.
And people are like, "Oh, Starbucks a woman." No, Starbucks is
Whatever,
awesome. I like her. I'm
yeah, man,
sorry.
whatever. She's super hot. Deal with it.
Yeah, I'm a
I don't even care.
fan. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
fine
the
with it.
crazy, weird, like Christian, like ending thing going on. I
Yes.
like it. All right, so that's it. So for you listeners, that was our list. I thought that was fun. That was kind of fun. I
Yeah, that was
enjoyed it.
cool.
Kind of a last minute idea I had
A
yesterday.
nice variety of topics, a nice variety of
Right.
content.
I hope you guys enjoyed our another live show. We'll be here next Tuesday. Maybe we'll get a guest or not. Look, guest depends on how much effort I want to put in inviting people. Sometimes I do like this long. I'll invite people. What I do is I send out invitations, and then like we're booked for like 3 months straight, which was like most of the summer. And
Yeah,
I've been taking these last few weeks of just me and you because we can catch up on the current events and catch up on our conversations. But we'll probably have Lisa on next week. Maybe Lisa wants to come back on or something. I want to get a librarian to come back on because he's been
oh
dropping
yeah.
hot ones on
Oh,
the
smokes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'll if I have office time. Okay, this is what it matters on. If I have time to sit down in the office and send out proper invites, we'll get guests on. If not, we'll continue. Talking. When I was a kid, I actually liked Return of the Jedi a lot. I like the whole.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like the whole. I like the Jabba part. Okay, I like the Jabba's palace part.
It's not bad. Yeah.
Okay, um, I think it's gonna be cool. So what we're gonna do though is we're gonna read Revelation Space. So if you guys want to
Yep.
book club it with us, go pick up
There we go.
Revelation Space. I think it's like free if you have Kindle Unlimited, right?
Ooh,
Because I think it's the first in this trilogy, so it's
it
free.
is.
And it's
Yeah.
by Alistair Reynolds. All right, he's British. He's a British chap.
A
I've
British
enjoyed
boy.
his everything I've read from him, which was House of Suns. It was really good. It's very hard sci-fi from what I read in House of Suns, as in it's like very like it's thinky. Like it's not like Star Trek warp speed type stuff. It's like it's got like time dilation and all those actual problems. It
Yeah.
deals with space travel in a realistic way. But it's dark gothic, kind of a downer from what I'm reading in reviews. I'm looking forward to reading the whole thing. We'll probably once we're both done, we'll have an episode on it. So if you really want to know what the hell we're talking about, then please read Revelation Space with us. I will. I'll link.
Yeah.
I'm going to link all these books and movies for you guys. But the book we're going to do is Revelation Space by Alistair Reynolds. Right. But I'll link all the books. I think you should read Hyperion. I think you should read everything we had on the list.
Yes.
If you want to send me your list in a chat,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
on Telegram,
yeah.
that way I can put it for when I edit the episode. But yeah, we'll do that. We'll do like a little cool thing. I think we should do these more often. I think they're fun. Maybe we should do one on my favorite cowboy movies.
Yeah.
Midnight
No,
Cowboy.
that's a great idea.
Um,
I think
for you
I
guys
think we
that
definitely need to do. We really need to do that Fifth Element episode.
we do and
That'd
the
be fantastic.
Total Recall episode, Fifth
Yes.
Element episode, Multipass. I was tempted to put on Demolition Man. I really loved that movie too.
Ooh.
I really loved
Yeah,
it.
that's another movie
Yeah.
episode. I mean, there's so many good ones. There's so many good
Yeah.
ones.
I if you guys were here at the very beginning, there's a song, and that was it was called Queen of the Rodeo, and I'm gonna have to remove it from the stream because it's I'm gonna get banned for not paying royalties on it, right? We have to, but I thought that matched my theme of enshitification. But I really like that song. I think there's a ghost knocking on my door.
Nice.
was terrifying. Probably an alien. All right, guys.
Probably your Chick-fil-A.
It, no, I'm eating my Chick-fil-A now. She snuck in and gave it to me.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
All right, guys. I hope you guys have a fantastic night. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the questions. I also agree with Arthur. I'm happy Star Wars was kept off the list. I don't, it's not cool to like Star Wars now. Oh, Chicago streets, welcome, but you got to go because we're done for the day. We'll have this episode edited.
See you later, baby.
And remember, guys, resist the skinwalkers, man. All right. Just because Cracker Barrel looks like it's all Americana, don't mean it's really Americana. Okay. It's owned by BlackRock. It's fake and it's gay. All right. Like this cowboy I have as a picture. If you guys are wondering who this fine gentleman in the picture is, I just Googled gay cowboy and edited the picture. So, I was like, gay cowboy.
Like, don't dox me, bro. Don't dox me, bro.
I'm just like gay cowboy, right?
There it is.
And the music we listened to earlier is Orville Peck. And if you're not a fan, Orville Peck is amazing. Okay, I highly recommend this stuff. You guys got a fucking killer voice, but he is a gay cowboy from South Africa, so it's interesting. It's like he does Americana via David Lynch. It's really weird, really good stuff. I highly recommend all this stuff, and he does a pretty good cover with of Jackson, like the Johnny Cash song, but he does it with a drag queen named Trixie Mattel, which is actually pretty good. It's actually entertaining. Anyways, I do like gay cowboys, guys. Midnight Cowboy checking out live from South Carolina. All right, good night, guys.